Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Power Network. I'm Amy. Today, we're looking at an interview Laurie Hellis gave on Excited Utterance, where she lays out her own thought experiment and talks about what went down at CrimeCon. And guess what, guys? No PhD required. So let's get into it. I'm rolling the intro while the algorithm brings in the rest of the Power Crew. Shout out to my replay crew. Love you, babies.
Carefully strumming his old guitar again. Words rolling out into our fire. If heaven had wings, I would steal them and fly away with you for a while. Hearing the essence of gratitude, your dreamy little smile on my lips. I miss my cue, but baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day. Here in the
Here in the blue, it's so good to be back here with my Power Crew today. Sorry, I got a little distracted there at the very end. How's everyone doing? Here in the essence of gratitude, it's Saturday and we're talking about hidden true crime. So, how's that for gratitude? Hi, everyone. It's so good to see everybody. Hello, Braun Foth. So good to see you back. Hi, Dr. Calamity Jane. Good to see you. Who else is here? I know I saw a few other people. Hey, No Levy. How are you? Unsolved Amy Boston. Hey, girl, I'm going to email you soon. Heads up, that means that could happen today or anytime this week. I'm a slow mover or a fast mover. No, there's no in between. Hey, Carolina. So good to see you. Hi, guys. Hi to everybody out there in the neither regions listening. Welcome to the Power Network. I'm Amy. Today we're talking about hidden true crime. Laurie Hellis did an interview, and we're going to go over that. And we've got a few other things on tap. But before we do that, if we could just start that algorithm dance party that I like to do and just start warming up your fingers and dancing them right up to the hearts and thumbs up button, helps us go out into the algorithm and party out there. Today we're coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Oh, hey, I forgot. I need to set an alarm because I got the little bird in the shower, but it's really cold out and I put a heater in there and I got to remember to go check on him in a minute because I will forget. Once I get going in this, I lose track of time. So let me just set this really quick. Set it for an hour. I'm just worried about the water and the heater and all that, but it's cold. It's like 39 degrees, and so I don't want them in the shower without some kind of heat in there. So, okay, an hour. We got an hour, you guys. I've got a little green cheek conure, and his name is Junebug, and he's a handful. Hi, Kim. Thank you. Yes, hit that button, that like button. Thanks, guys. Okay, so did everybody see the Laurie Hellis interview? I actually haven't seen it yet. I purposely didn't watch it because I like to watch it fresh with you guys. Well, I watched a little piece of it, okay? Well, did I even watch any of it? I don't even know. I don't think I did. But we're going to take a look at that and we're going to zoom around the Reddit boards and you know, make fun of the nonsense makers. also known as Hidden True Crime. Let me get my screen all put together. I'm also in a really bad mood, you guys. I'm just in a really like I've decided it must be hormonal because it's in one of those like I'm so irritated, but nothing is like there's no irritation. There's nothing that should be irritating me. There should be nothing bearing down on me, right? But so I'm so irritated, and because there's nothing really bearing down, I mean, well, there is. I'm not saying my life is perfect. I could pick out some really bearing down things, but they've been bearing down on me for a while. So it shouldn't be like anything like, oh my gosh, right? So in my mind, I'm like, I'm convinced that nobody can be as cruel to myself as I can be. So not too much hurts my feelings, but I can really hurt my feelings. And so things are like really hurting my feelings right now, and I'm super sensitive and I'm irritated with myself, and then I'm irritated with myself for being irritable. And I just like, ugh, I hate, and I have decided this is the worst feeling that, like, of all the feelings that I feel, this is my least favorite way to be. I hate this. This is when I can be more mean, more ouchy, more ugh. And I hate when I'm like this. And I just literally, like, I try to get myself out of it and I can't. So that's why I've decided it must be hormonal. So, and plus it's cold. Yes, I'm so close to 10K. So if you guys could just, give me that little nudge. Where are we at? We're at 9,877. So, like I said, I'm nearly up to 10K. Oh, I thought my life would be so different when I hit 10K. That's crazy in itself. But anyway, so back to Hidden True Crime. Anyway, I'm really ouchy and weird today, so just like take it with a grain of salt. I might say some things that have been bothering me might slip out. I try to like keep things to myself, but some things have been bothering me in life, and when I feel this way, they might slip out a little bit more. But just know that like I'm not sitting here brooding constantly over these things. They're just things that, might bother me. All right. My whole family is ouchy and weird and hormonal. And I mean, I told you I come from a bunch of borderline personalities. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it can stem from that. But, oh, geez. We used to talk about my grandma Ruby, I would say she was the worst of the bunch. And she was just, yeah, we would say, like, I wonder who's going to grow up to be like Grandma Ruby. Like, who's going to be the Grandma Ruby when Grandma Ruby's not there? And everyone was like, I don't think it's me. I hope it's not me. And we would, like, name off people who we thought it would be. But nobody wants to be Grandma Ruby. Her name was Roaming Ruby for a reason. We would like she had four children, and we would be, when we were taught to respect our elders. So when she came over, whatever she wanted went, like I was the youngest in the house, so when she came to visit, she got my room, and that's just the way it was. But like during the day, she liked to watch her storylines, her soap operas, and then at night she was a huge like Tigers. We were from Michigan. She was a Detroit Tigers fan. So they would, and my grandpa did it too. Like they would be out running the roads, roaming Ruby, get it? They'd be out roaming the roads. And if it was time for their storyline, or it was a baseball game night, they would just stop by the house and clear out our house. If we were watching TV, we stopped what we were doing and we let them do it. And yeah, and she was the one that told me that I'd be pretty if I was skinny, that type of, while we were standing in line at McDonald's when I was 13, like I wasn't buying myself food. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm at that point today in my life. I think all my trauma might be like at the surface too, so because I'm talking about this. But sometimes you just need to talk about it, I think. I think you do. and this show, there's a reason why I talk about hidden true crime, and I do, and I'm not, my background is in psych soc. I have my, my B, my degree in sociology. My major was sociology, my minor was psychology. And so, but I tend to talk about cases that, scratch the nerve in me, like from childhood, or something that's like a case that it reminds me of that I have come across, or something that happened to me in childhood. And dealing with Lauren, she reminds me a lot of the borderline personalities that I had to deal with. So when I'm not feeling 100, it kind of like scratches that nerve for me. And I start thinking about these people in the past, and it just like, ugh. So I think that's why I'm doing it. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to everyone coming in. Mm, I'm sorry that you guys, if you have to deal with any kind of mental, well, I think we all are dealing with some kind of mental health. I mean, I'm even dealing with mental health. You know, I talk about dealing with other people with mental health issues, but I deal with my own, and it's just like really hard to deal with. And Lauren just really, I don't know, she really, when I'm not doing well, seems to bring up some icky memories for me. But Laurie Hellis is one of those people that have come forward to talk about hidden true crime. She is well, she's a lawyer that worked with John and Lauren, and actually came up during the 9.5 hour live. Difficult research has she used to do a lot of lives with hidden true crime, but because Laurie cut Dr. John off during one of his most vulnerable and critical and crucial, and he was about to give his best vulnerable speech ever, and she cut him off. And so she had to go, friends. She had to go. No explanation. She just had to go. So this is Laurie Hellis when she was with Hidden True Crime, and we're going to watch a little snippet of her interaction with Lauren.
Well, first of all, I would say that competency, once again, isn't black or white. It's certainly a spectrum, and a person can be competent at 8 o'clock in the morning, and their medication can wear off, and they can be thoroughly incompetent by 5. So I'm not sure that it's not as concrete, I think, as we lawyers would like to make it, because lawyers are all.
I know many people aren't a big fan of her, and I don't know much about her. I know Kresha, I've heard like when Kresha was on, she didn't really say too many nice things about Laurie, and I'm seeing like maybe not a nice things about Laurie in the chat. I don't know enough about her to say one way or another. But here, we can agree to disagree, or we can say what we feel like we want to say, as long as it's said in a way that isn't crushing or debilitating to the person. You know what I mean? So everybody's allowed to have their own opinions.
About black and white, about black letter law, and Dr. John would say that unlike black letter law, psychology is much more subjective. I think that it is possible. One of the things that might happen with Laurie is that it may be that her periods of lucidity and her will get longer as she responds to her medication. So it's a process. And
so this is one of the deleted TGIF collabs from HTC with Retired Attorney and Exploited Part 1. So this is one of the deleted TGIF collabs from HTC with Retired Attorney and author Laurie Hellis, whose channel's name is Chasing Justice on YouTube, and Lauren Matthias of Hidden True Crime for their weekly live stream TGIF video, where this week's discussion was about Laurie Vallow, of course. Daybell's, we saw over on Reddit that I think it was 45% of their videos, their content is on the Vallow Daybell case. So this was on her competency issues back in October of 2021. We're not going to watch it all. We're just going to watch a little portion of it to get a feel for their vibes. Because I never watched it. I never watched Hidden True Crime too much. I do have a few clips of their content here and there, but like, I don't know. I just got like a weird feeling with these two, and I just not Laurie, but when her face was off-putting to me, and I know people get offended by talking about that, but I really do think it's like a psychological thing where people do things to their face, and we're human beings and we read each other's faces. And I find her very hard to read. And also she's got that look to her, that Hollywood look, which tells me that she's got a little bit of body dysmorphia of some, like, I don't, like, it just leads me down so many roads that I'm like, I'm gonna stay away from that. So I always did. One of my favorite memes lately that I found, you guys, I know that I like to throw up some different things in my posts when I get ready to do a live. I create a little carousel of pictures, and today's carousel was this, but this is one of my favorite things here is this one. Me knowing it was time to exit whatever that was, right? So let me get us back over to here, and we'll take a peek at this and see their vibe. And then we're going to go into the interview.
One day she wakes up and she's competent. Lawyers look at it that way because we want a judge to say, okay.
Good morning, everyone. Morning to everyone coming in. So good to see everybody.
Yesterday she wasn't incompetent, today she's competent. But I think Dr. John would agree that that is much more of a process-driven occurrence, and that it is a much more subjective kind of determination than lawyers would want to make it. So yes, it seems that Mark Means is trying to play both sides of the competency issue, but it is also possible that Laurie has windows of competency that occur periodically. And during those periods of competency, he may have really good substantive.
Hold on, I need to refresh it. I always forget you
Any
can't
thoughts on
speed
that,
it
Laurie?
up. You can't speed it up unless you refresh it once, which is this new. No, I'm not going to bitch about it. Never mind.
Well, first of all, I would say that competency, once again, isn't black or white. It's certainly a spectrum, and a person can be competent at 8 o'clock in the morning and their medication can wear off and they can be thoroughly incompetent by 5. So I'm not sure that it's not as concrete, I think, as we lawyers.
So it's interesting to me that she's speaking about this because she sounds more like she's sitting in the Dr. Yan seat than a lawyer seat, but it's true. It's true.
Would like to make it because lawyers are all about black and white, about black letter law. And Dr. John would say that unlike black letter law, psychology is much more subjective. I think that it is possible. One of the things that might happen with Laurie is that it may be that her periods of lucidity and her will get longer as she responds to her medication. So it's a process and not one day she wakes up and she's competent. Lawyers look at it that way because we want a judge to say, okay, yesterday she wasn't incompetent, today she's competent. But I think Dr. John would agree that that is much more of a process-driven occurrence, and that it is a much more subjective kind of determination than lawyers would want to make it. So yes, it seems that Mark Means is trying to play both
Look how
sides.
different her face looks just even here. That's amazing to me. And Lori looks different too. She must have lost some weight or something.
Of the competency issue, but
Oh,
it
and this is
is
2021. This is not that long ago.
also possible that
Well,
Lori
I mean,
has
it is 5 years ago, but wow.
windows of competency that occur periodically, and during those periods of competency, he may have really good substantive conversations with her, and then turn around and the next conversation he has with her makes no sense. I've certainly had that experience before of going to talk to a client, finding them to be really cogent and really understanding what's going on, and talking to them about the facts of their case, and then talking to them at another point a few days later and discovering that they're.
But Lori seemed to be a pro at it, didn't she? I mean, like it was amazing to me how incompetent she was and then how competent she suddenly became. Like it made me think that either she was never competent or she was always competent. It's weird.
Really, at the point that I'm talking to them, no longer able to even remember our conversation or really be able to fully understand what it is I'm talking about.
Yes, this is Laurie Hellis on the right, and they both look so different, don't they? Yes, this is 2021. This is Laurie Hellis on the right, and on the left we have Lauren Matthias.
It's not necessarily a straight line. Restoring someone to competency looks more like a meandering stream than it does a superhighway.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And again, excommunication, Carrie clarified. I want to go back to that because it's a different term now that just went blank. But I mean, when it comes to Chad and Lori, let's just call it excommunicated, X'd, as Carrie says there. I think it's appropriate.
I want to slow it down because I want to listen to the way she's talking, because lately our Lauren Matthias has sounded like a real drunky poo. She's really been doing some pre-gaming, so I just want to see if her voice has changed.
I am so sorry. Every time I'm about to talk, I start coughing. Lori, is there anything else you want to touch on when it comes to this right now, our tonight's subject?
I don't think so. My newsletter started out with a few sort of housekeeping things, and
let's move it forward.
And our little boy on YouTube, and on our Facebook, I had shared a story with Larry.
Actually, I actually have I want to talk about her and her little boy. So let's have a listen to this.
To share a little bit more about that, if I can stop coughing, of course. But so I shared a picture of Larry and our little boy on YouTube, and on our Facebook, I had shared a story with Larry, Pawpaw, as my son knows him, doing my little boy sharing all his different dinosaurs with him, and then a gift that they sent Banks for his birthday. And so to share a little bit more about that, they did visit us in April, and I just have to tell this story because Larry and Kay both won our son over. Seeing them with Banks was the most endearing thing. But Larry Woodcock,
I find this really offensive and disgusting. I find this really offensive and disgusting that they're trying to put their son in a position of basically, I'm going to say it, JJ. I find it really offensive and disgusting.
Papa is like a toddler whisperer. That man, he got our little boy's attention and admiration and love so quickly.
I'm shocked.
Still to this day, she'll say, "Where's Papa? Is Papa coming in? Have you talked to Papa?" And I just want to say, it was really, you couldn't not think of JJ. And
they're having their son call Larry Papa. Is that what I understand? I got to take that back.
Little boy's attention and admiration and love so quickly. He still, to this day, she'll say, "Where's Papa? Is Papa coming in? Have you talked to Papa?" And I just want to say, it was really, you couldn't not think of JJ and the wonderful grandparents that these two are. And I just want to share that really touching story. They have been so sweet and and then Banks calls K Woodcock. Papa and Kay Woodcock. And they are such good, kind people. And I guess I just want to share that to not lose sight of the victims. They loved JJ so much. Everyone should have grandparents like Kate and Larry, and JJ loved them so much. And
let's see what this is. It's okay. Oh, you know what this is? This is a tow truck. That is cool. No, is that a tow truck?
I told you so. That's a corny joke.
Oh, that's a heavy rescue.
It got towed.
pickup truck. So that must be a firefighter's truck. Let's see what this is. Yes, that is cool. That is really cool. Does the hood?
Does that fly good? No. Banks, does that fly good? Your plane?
We tried to do a paper airplane earlier today and it was bad. So I'm glad you got a
You
regular
know what that
one.
is?
I worked on airplane there.
What?
Uncle died in a plane crash and dropped.
That's a news truck? You know.
I brought it and I'm like, I don't know.
I wonder if we could take, oh, yeah, let me take a picture of it and I'll try and find it.
Tiff found it on Amazon.
I know, but hey, I'm not Tiff. Okay. Come on, turn around.
And it's got pockets.
I just wanted to share that. I saw that question that someone wanted to share a little bit more about that. And it was so sweet. They wanted to make sure to meet him before they left. And I just wanted to share that a little bit.
I would say that I've had a couple of conversations with Kay and Larry, and
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did the sound, I had the sound muted and I forgot to put it back on. I'm so sorry. What I'm saying is I'm just really disgusted. I was so disgusted by all of this, and I fast forwarded it, and I will put the links for everything down in the YouTube show notes. I do this to cite our sources and for fair use, and to head over to Crush's channel if you want to watch all of it. Crusha did have a short up that I noticed that seemed to go hand in hand with this.
Warren's main motive appears to have been suppressing leaked messages about the Daybell Vallow victims and others. Contradictory actions. Her claim to dismiss the protection order for her son's privacy contradicts her subsequent 9-hour live stream.
One of the reasons Lauren said that she didn't go to court was for her son's privacy, yet she puts him up there on the internet whenever it suits her, right? And Crusha is pointing this out.
That she monetized and where she shares his personal trauma anyways. Yeah. Then we have weaponizing family dynamics. I can vouch for this one. Aligning with victims. Lauren positions herself as a defender of the users of my family, attacking others who have defamed victims to gain credibility.
And over on Reddit, somebody pulled this up where there are just numerous posts of Lauren using that baby. Now, she didn't have the eyes up on it. The person who posted this put the little eyes up on it. So you can see here Lauren is saying that as a multimedia journalist, I do my own camera work. Sometimes I'm lucky and John is around to help me set up my shot, like yesterday. And then there was the time, I can't read all of it because there's all these things over it, but that's her with the baby, him with the baby, them with the baby, more with the baby, more with the baby, her with the baby in the background. And what is this outfit, you guys? I had to like get in closer for this one because what the frick is this? Is she like in a all leather outfit? And she just looks so different there. Look at her face. It's so different. Anyway, her with the baby. Her with the baby. The baby. The baby. Her with the baby. The Breakfast of Champions, Zappos. More baby. And with the mom. Baby. Him and the baby. Him and the baby. Something saying that they're not doing it because of the baby. More because of the baby. More baby. More with her with the baby. So you get it, right? You get it. They use the baby. But don't you dare use the baby. I want to go back to this just one more time. I want to see what Laurie says to all this.
I think that I would say that they are every kid's dream grandparents. They are so loving and so delightful. And I know that Larry has told this story before. When JJ was first born, he was born to...
Oh, imagine that. She directs it back to JJ into the appropriate place, but okay.
Kay and Larry's son. And he was born drug affected. And we all know...
Do you think after this story is done, do you think that Lauren is going to say something poetic about JJ, or will it go back to about her and her son?
That infants that are born drug affected have a whole set of early issues. And one of the things is that it's very difficult for them. They're typically born premature. It's very difficult for them to settle and self-soothe and put themselves back to sleep. And people who take care of drug affected babies will tell you that there are a lot of sleepless nights. And early on, Larry was somewhat hesitant about the idea of he and Kay taking care of a newborn at their ages. But Larry tells the story of laying down on the couch and laying JJ on his chest where JJ could hear his heartbeat, and night after night sleeping with JJ on his chest, because that was the only place that JJ would settle and go back to sleep. And I just have that precious image in my head of them and what fine and loving people they are. And they didn't deserve this. JJ didn't deserve it. And we're all here in one way or another to see that justice is done for Tylee and for JJ.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, another story Larry shared with us was that he would, when they took him right after he was born, they had him.
Oh, I was wrong. She tried to one-up her with a story. Man, that didn't even come. I didn't even give the option C. Sorry, guys. Sorry. If you called it, you called it. She one-upped her. Okay, let's get over and go over to Excited Utterance, or Hella Excited Utterance, and talk about their interview with Laurie. Laurie joined her a few nights ago, and we're going to take a look at that. Let me see what you guys are saying really quick before we do that, though. I don't think this was appropriate for Laurie Hellis to speak for Larry and Kay about JJ. Well, I think it's better that she took it back to JJ than allowing what Lauren did and setting her son on this guy's lap and call him Papa. Gosh. Lauren behaved on the memorial like it was a movie premiere. Yeah. She did. Remember that? And she barrel rushed Kay while Kay was trying to talk to JJ's real dad. The thing that really upsets me was seeing the submission that Law and Crime had put in the court, and they had specifically said they would not use anything related to minors. Well, they're going to take the story and bend it to their will. Like we see them do it over and over again. Falsely accused he is not taking drug. I don't know what that's about. I know. Front and center. I'm drinking, bitches. What you gonna do about it? And Warren over there is like hiding her vodka in the water. Okay, let's get into it. Be sure to, hey, I looked over the other day to see how many people that watch the channel are actually subscribed, and it was a relatively shocking number. I think it was only 47% of you are subscribed, but more of you are watching. So maybe you don't know you're not subscribed. So check and see if you're subscribed. And if you're not, just, hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's an amazing way to help channels out. And I would love to have you. I will stop and start things, and this is a commentary channel, so everything that we view, I do put over in the YouTube show notes. We do this for fair use and as well to cite our sources. I know sometimes you want to watch things in its entirety, and I get it, so that's where you can find it if you want to take a peek at it.
Okay, guys, first we'll bring Mr. Daly in. We'll do that.
Hey.
You're excited, aren't you?
I am. I
need to refresh. I need to refresh it because that's the only way I can speed it up. It's a new way that YouTube
No idea what she
has done stuff. So let me get us back over.
Are they okay?
I think so.
Did she interrupt you backstage?
She did, and I got kind of upset, but it's okay.
Do you like my John memes?
I do. They're very good.
That's one of my most favorite moments for John was when he throws down his glasses and is so pissed off because he was about to give his most vulnerable speech ever, and Laurie interrupted him.
Hey, Scott Long.
Okay, let me get it to where she's on.
I mean, well,
let's get it forward.
About that before when it came to Lauren and John.
Well, since we're talking about it, since we got you here, let's watch the whole thing, shall we? Without further ado, let's watch the moment, because why not? Hang on, let's share this. Go left. Alrighty, the big moment, the moment that really pissed him off.
One of the people saying this because of this was on our show years ago. And I will say this, one of the worst moments I've ever had in 5 years, one of the moments that pissed me off to no end, unlike every other moment on any show I've ever been on, this person was on the show. And somebody, a viewer asked a question of me that was extremely emotional. And I was pondering the question. You could see I was getting emotional. I was going to give one of the best responses I've ever given. And you know what happened? Because this person couldn't handle the fact that I was getting emotional, they cut me off.
No!
They absolutely cut me off, refused to let me answer because they couldn't handle that emotion.
Oh, John.
Especially in a male, that raw emotion.
That raw emotion.
I was about to express. And
that
I was
raw, unbridled yawn emotion. Laurie.
So angry.
Oh, I'm angry for you, John.
She's not on our channel. You might want to look at yourself.
Look at yourself, Laurie.
The fact that you cut me off in one of the most critical moments on one of our shows that I've ever had. You might want
How is she sitting here with a straight face? Maybe this is why she's eating her face right now, because she's trying not to laugh. Look at his face. Oh, I might need that. We might need to do a little screenshot for that. We need a little screenshot of that. We need a new Dr. Yawn screenshot anyway. Speaking of screenshots, I think I offended Christina. Either that or I'm just become like I said, my feelings are a little ouchy. Over on TikTok, on my profile, I shared this little short that I did where, skip the 9.5 hour live, and I put the whole crama into like a 5-minute short, and Christina saw it and
another user.
Oops. And she made this comment. She said, ha ha ha, I would be happy to send you photos so you don't have to use that AI photo rendering of me. So I'm taking that she doesn't like this.
True crime trauma.
She doesn't like this photo of her, which I'm sitting here wondering what's wrong with the photo. And then I'm trying to think, you think she's offended by it, you guys? I think it's a cute photo of her. I think she looks cute in the little AI glasses. But I mean, I don't want to offend anybody. Actually, I don't really care if I offend Lauren and John, but I'm not trying to offend her. But I thought it was a cute photo. I do use photos a little bit too much, and this is also how I get when I'm like this, because I overthink things in general anyway. So, and like I said, things don't usually hurt my feelings or bother me, but I'm wondering, did I offend her? Because I think it's a cute photo, and what am I doing wrong? And also I put a lot of work into it, and I noticed, I just don't want to hurt her feelings, but it would be also nice to say great job or instead. I don't know. But anyway, do you guys think that it's a bad photo of her, or am I overthinking it? Probably overthinking it, and like I told you, I think it's hormonal what's happening anyway. I always have to go back to Yawn being a hit by an 18-wheeler with a muffler. 18-wheelers don't have mufflers. She's using him to hide private messages that she's talking shit about him. Yeah, don't worry about it. I don't think she was offended. Her comment doesn't sound that way. Yeah, I hope she's not, because, I mean, I guess it is time to get a new photo of her. I do like to use the same photos over and over again. I'm the same with clothes. You would think I would want to wear new things every single day. Now, if I find something I like, if I find a song I want to listen to, if I find food that I like, I just do it over and over again until I'm sick of it. I just like somebody told, and I do the same thing with movies and TV shows, but somebody said that I read that when you have trauma that you like those kind of familiar things, because when you have trauma, you just don't want unfamiliar shit around you. So, but I do need to branch out. Thank you so much, Amy, for donating the Parawomen Radio Dragonfly memberships. That's the membership program that we have over on the YouTubes. I missed when you donated it, so I can't see who became dragonflies. Sorry, guys. But welcome to all the new dragonflies. Oh, wait, no, there it is. Welcome to the dragonflies, Cat Balloon, Jacqueline WQ, Mad Chatter 102, Monica C1, Guzma Como 40. Welcome to the dragonflies. You know who I sound like? I just saw Jolene talking. She put up a video. Sorry, my brain's getting ahead of me today too. She put up a video and she was doing one of her impersonations of Trisha. I'm trying to get to it too. One of her videos of Trisha, and her impersonation of Trisha really cracked me up. So let's take a quick look at that because it's really funny when she does the Trisha.
Don't be fun. Wouldn't this going to be fun? Stop. Stop. If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want.
That's not Trisha, that's her impersonation of Lauren, but this is her impersonation, and it's correct. She had me laughing at like 5 o'clock in the morning because not only does she do Trisha, but she does Stacy too.
Full-time job while not having a mic. Guys, I don't understand what's going on. Why is everyone going after Lauren Matthias? She's great. She's great. Her and that Grayson, oh God, they're so good. I don't even know what a screenshot is. Do you want to talk about John Benet Ramsey? No, we don't. Are you sure? God, I love talking about that for some reason.
She loves yelling at John for some reason.
Yeah, no, you're great, Grayson. You're doing great. You're doing a great job, sweetie. You're doing great. I would be proud. Everyone should be proud of you. It's horrible what's happening to you. What'd they say Lauren did? Yeah, she sent me something to my BlackBerry, and I was like, what is this? What's she doing? I thought she got hacked. I thought someone hacked her. Yeah. I threw the phone on the ground, and I hit it with my bong. Yeah. And I never used it again because I thought it was possessed. I also was on LSD, but that's neither here nor there. Stacy, are you there? Stacy? Yeah, exactly, Stacy. Whatever you just said. That sounds great. Stacy's researching this for me. What is a screenshot? And do I have a bunch from Lauren Matthias? Do I? Are you sure? I don't know. I just got rid of that phone. Yeah, bad vibes. I gave it to the Goodwill, I think. Or I might have disposed of it where Brian Higgins sent his phone. I don't remember. But Ashley Banfield, she can go to hell because she is putting out false information. I'm putting out a little false information, but that's okay. It's different. Huh? I don't think so. I don't want to let me read some of my comments here. So, see if that Sharon McBlockbuster's in the chat. Okay. She hit her with the, what do you mean she hit her with a bunion? Do you know that John Ramsey?
So she calls her the Sharon McBlockbuster, but then when they go in and they actually show Trisha, she can't say the names, and it totally reminds of me. I can't say names either, and so you can just call me Trisha. So then she pops up the Trisha.
Yeah, I like that part. John Ramsey. Yeah, that's
the whole
good.
Trisha clip.
Okay. How about you, cynical? And then just crickets.
Do your research, Ashley. Do your research. See, look how calm I am, Stacy. Look how calm I'm not raging inside. I'm not. I'm calm. So, let's see this. Share.
I would like one of the gentlemen to address this comment I put on the screen.
Okay, I'm going to try and read the name. Sharon McPherce Christo. Anyway,
Sharon McPherce Christo. Anyway,
Trisha is so.
When I do that, I'm just gonna say I'm pulling a Trisha. We'll just say we're pulling a Trisha.
Look at the fact that people didn't like you. You might want to look at the fact that you spoke over Lauren and myself. You might want to look at the fact that you thought you owned this channel when you didn't. You might want to look at the fact that there was a groundswell of people who despised you.
A groundswell of people that despise you. And then he throws his glasses.
Wow. I just, your reaction during that, Polly, was you just couldn't stop laughing.
The thing that I find a little sad in watching this back is actually Lauren's demeanor.
Yeah.
She is not going to cross him at this point. She's just sitting there saying, yeah, very quietly, yeah, and validating him. And more on some of their more recent lives, I see that. And
I think that's one of the problems, that John has been validated a little too much in his life.
It's troubling. I think that people close to them should be concerned. Yeah.
Well,
so I mean, you know.
You're right.
I once had a T-shirt that said, "You say bitch like it's a bad thing." I mean, you know, I once had a judge who said that my contumacious behavior in the courtroom was out of line, and I went and had a necklace made with the word contumacious on it, and I wore it to court every day. So you know,
contumacious even.
his opinion of me matters. Fuck all.
Sorry, I
I
looked
never
up
swear on my own channel.
I
because
looked up what contumacious means, and it means especially of a defendant's behavior stubbornly or willfully disobedient to authority. That's a new word that I've never heard before. So have you, I've never even heard that word in a sentence. So it should be sound now.
I love it.
I try and respect my viewers, but you know, I mean, his opinion doesn't mean a damn thing to me. But I think that people around him should be concerned that this guy's he doesn't have many pressure release valves, and that should be concerning.
What really stood out to me is when
if I don't get my sound stuff under control, I'm going to be known as the channel with the shitty sound. That annoys me too. I don't Yesterday I did I'm going to bitch. Yesterday I did a live and I had worked on my sound and I finally got it all together, and then I went into a new studio and the sound reverted back to my webcam, and I didn't realize it, so the whole sound was messed up on my live yesterday. So I mean, I'm just gonna be known as the person with the shitty sound.
phone, or Lauren was on the phone with him with the officer,
right?
And she shushed the officer so he could talk.
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal. Like he needs to talk.
Right.
Like
two people talking. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah.
Like that's a.
I should go check.
A known issue.
I'm gonna.
Sure.
I'm right here, but I'm gonna go. I was gonna check on him in an hour, but that reminds me, I'm gonna pop my head in and look in on him because I want to make sure the heater's okay.
Oh, I mean, if you look at it from that regard, it's I can shush this police officer because he doesn't mean anything to me. But if I interrupt John, I'm gonna have to deal with fallout later. I mean, from my personal standpoint, I don't care, but people around him might care.
So NJ Kathy for $9.99 says, and thank you for the $9.99. I find it interesting that he has one profound thought and he was interrupted.
Yeah, it's a shame he didn't. Now see, we're doing the same thing. You get three people in a live, and we can't always see one another, and there's a little bit of a lag, and so people do talk over each other.
Oh yeah.
But I unfortunately, he should have written it down because it was, he doesn't necessarily believe things are true unless they're written in books. So he should have written this one down. Yeah,
he doesn't write. He doesn't write books, though, does he?
Not that I know of, although Lauren always said he was writing a book.
Oh, he's writing a book.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's doing at home alone.
Now, it'll be interesting to see now that they're building this big multi-million-dollar compound if John will have his own little cave again.
Yeah. See, Laurie is confirming the compound, unless she's just going by the research that's out there. But I really do think they're building the compound. I really do.
Oh yeah.
When I visited them at their home, they have their I presume it's their current house has a little like guest house. And that's where John was with his towers and piles of books and Lauren, who was actually doing something that was creating income for the family, was relegated to this tiny little guest room and her laptop in a corner. And that's where she did the lives from, while John had this big, fancy, like guest house that was his office. And
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And his gross feet.
That is interesting.
And his feet. Yeah. Have you seen the feet pig?
I don't want to. So, I mean, I think the clues were there as to the balance of power in that relationship.
Yeah.
And, I think it's interesting that Christina came out with some recorded information that early on in their relationship. And I don't think that's a surprise. Initially, when COVID hit and they shut down all the prisons, he couldn't get in and out of the prisons. But as she said on that recording with Christina, he didn't want to go back to work. He was depressed. He was. So
she said wouldn't work. She said wouldn't.
He has not. He hasn't worked. I mean, there's that one case where he did evaluation was from 2021. Now I don't know if that evaluation was done before that and it only just went to court in 2021. I mean, who knows? But it was right in that time frame that he did the evaluation that people found and it came out. But yeah.
So what everyone's been asking, do you remember what moment that he's referring to?
I absolutely don't. And the interesting thing about it is that once they yeeted me from their lives, they went back and deleted every one of the lives that I'd been in. And Lauren and I had been appearing every Friday night.
With my sound issues, I was laughing about it this morning because I realized yesterday that my live was like nobody could hear me.
On a live for a year.
Yeah.
So it was important enough to them to get me out of their lives to completely delete a year's worth of work. So I don't know.
That's like when you've had a really bad breakup and you
apparently,
their
photo out of the family photos. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, you really hurt their feelings, Laurie.
Apparently.
And I mean, they could hear me because nobody said during the live, we can't hear you. But when I did the replay, I mean, you could barely hear me because of the mic issue. But, I was so annoyed by it.
So
I don't know. Feel to have so much control over someone's emotions.
Powerful, really powerful.
Wow, powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
No.
And hi, Jackie. How are you? So excited for the day. $10. Nice to see you, love.
Thank you,
and
Jackie.
Brandy Snaps, £9.99. The King Sterling. God save the King. Hello, lovely people, hosts and guests. So happy you're all here. So nice to see you. It is so nice to see you. And Kelly Kell says, I'm a law student, 3L, Ella, and so happy Jolene led me to Laurie. Laurie, I have major concerns about what I'm seeing and so excited to hear from you. Well, that's wonderful that you are taking up law. Very nice.
Yes.
And speaking of which, and speaking of Jolene also, Jolene has an idea. And that is that you and I, Ms. Hellis, should start a law firm together because I'm a fake lawyer. Did you know that? I am indeed. And so this is what Jolene has to say about that.
From Princeton? Is he giving you bad advice and speculate on a case where the defendant hasn't even pled yet? Well, call Helen Hellis, all right? And you might be open for compensation. Compensation might be available to you. All right, call now. Helen Hellis. And everything you did, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to get to the bottom of, Cindy, you're right. John, stop being pissed. It's been 5 years. Get over it already. Build a bridge. My God. I'm sure Laurie made your channel more entertaining. Can you please update your title? Hella, you don't have to.
Okay, I'm going to move us forward and hopefully they get into the situation.
And avoid her, right? But she didn't say that they picked her up.
I'm also impatient I'm also very impatient in general, and I'm very impatient when I'm like this.
Christina, being the smarty that she is, she had some footage from her meta glasses, which she provided, and we were able to show it on this channel. But you said it on your stream. You said that, well, you can tell us what you said and what
Thanks
you saw.
for listening in.
So that Saturday evening, those of us who didn't have VIP passes to the Clue Awards, it used to be the Clue Awards about...
Maybe it's YouTube that's messing. No, it's me messing up on my sound. I'm not going to blame it on YouTube.
A separate ticket for them. But this year you had to be a gold or platinum member in order to go to the Clue Awards.
Yes.
So those of us who didn't have tickets were hanging out in the bar. And when the Clue Awards lets out, I've been to several CrimeCons now, all the people from the awards come into the bar and continue to party. So I was sitting, this is a very large bar area, big sunken, like the basement of this hotel. And I was sitting at a collection of furniture. So it was a couch and a love seat and a couple of chairs and a coffee table in the middle, kind of a conversation area. And I was sitting there. Christina was there. Now, I never met Christina. I didn't even know anything about Christina until about 2 weeks before CrimeCon. And she reached out to me and said, hey, I've really been struggling with a friendship with Lauren, and I understand that she did some of the same things to you. So we kind of compared notes and had a conversation on the phone. But that was the first time I knew anything about her. I didn't know Lindsay. I didn't know Grayson. I didn't know Laurie. I think I had met Janice once before because she'd kind of been around for a while. But I didn't really know any of these folks. So that Saturday, I had dinner on my own. I came to the bar and Christina was there along with all these other people. And we were just sitting there BSing and having drinks when the Clue Awards let out. All these people flooded into the bar. And somebody who was sitting with us commented, oh, there goes Grayson. I knew by that time that Lauren had filed a restraining order against Christina. Christina had sent me a copy. Yeah, the lovely gray bag. She'd sent me a copy of it because she asked me some questions about it.
Sorry, so Christina had sent you a copy of what?
Of when? The restraining order. So
on what day?
Knew,
so it would have been the Friday.
I think it was on Friday. Yeah. So I knew I'd already.
Hang on. Well, yeah, because she would have received it on the Friday, so she would have sent it to you on the Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're all sitting at on this couch and in this conversation area. And somebody said, oh, there goes Grayson. She's looking for us. And so Grayson kind of went back and forth. I didn't even know who Grayson was. And they pointed her out to me, and then she kind of cruised around a couple of different times. Exactly. Gigi was kind of going in and out. I've known Gigi for a long time. And and she said, "Hey, I need to go talk to some people that my members only or something." And so, people were just sort of coming and going. And Anjanette Levy came in and she sat down right next to me on the couch. And probably about maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, 2 uniformed Aurora police officers come into the bar and they walked right up to this group and they said, "Which one of you is Christina?" And Christina said, "I am." And he said, "We need to talk with you. Will you come with us?" And they took her off. They were standing against a wall. I think there was a fireplace there, kind of a rock wall. We could still see them, but they took her away from the group and away from anybody else. And they talked to her for quite a while. At different times, people kind of went over there to make sure she was okay. And a little while later, Anjanette looked at me and said, "What the hell was that about?" And I said, "Well, Lauren Matthias took out a stalking order against Christina. That's all I know." And it seems to me, Anjanette said something like, "That's effed up," or I don't know. And then a few minutes later, Christina came back and she gathered up her purse and her whatever she had there. And she said, "I have to leave." And she left. It is true in a lot of states that even if you were there first, you have to leave if the person you have a restraining order against comes into where you are. It's not really fair, but it's true in a lot of places. So because the court says the responsibility to not have any contact is on the respondent, on the person who's restrained. So she had to leave. And that was sort of the end of it at that point. I mean, there was a lot of buzz going around when 2 cops come in and pull somebody out of a bar. There's a lot of buzz going on. What was happening? How was that? So people were talking about it.
I'm not surprised people were talking about it, actually.
And there were a lot of people in the bar. Gigi was there. Annie Elise was there. I mean, there were a lot of creators in the bar, and they were all talking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they know, okay, so tell me about that. Did they know who Christina was? And some people would have.
Some people did. Some people did. I'm not sure Gigi knew who Christina was. She may have met Christina. See, I actually moved from Mesa, Arizona to Boise, Idaho for 2 years to write the book about the Vallow case. I moved my house, right?
Wow.
And by the time Chad Daybell's trial happened, I went to the first couple of days in person. And I knew that Lauren had given out my manuscript, and I was so mad at her. I realized that I was probably going to make a scene in the courthouse if I continued to be there, because it just made me so mad to see her face every time I came across her in the courthouse. So I didn't go to all of the Daybell trial. So I don't really know what happened because I streamed it from home. And I just, I didn't want to have that confrontation.
That sucks, though. You should have been able to go, but yeah. And also, can I just interrupt? Janice says that Gigi did know Christina.
Okay. I think it's interesting that Hidden True Crime still hasn't done an update on Laurie Vallow, and Laurie Vallow was their meat and potatoes, and they haven't updated the case. I'm wondering, are they afraid to? Are they afraid of the backlash they'll get because they know the family doesn't really want them talking about, the family not really doesn't. The family does not want them talking about the case any longer. And is that why they're doing it? Are they actually respecting somebody, or are they afraid to talk about it?
Right. So she probably did know her from the other trials.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, dig on.
Thanks, Janice. So, I mean, I don't really know who knew what or who knew what was going on, but it was definitely, July 30th was the first time we chatted on the phone. That's right, you were in Europe. Envious. Yeah.
Hey, love, how's it going? Christine says July 30th was the first time we chatted on the phone. I was in Europe. Laurie is one of the only people I reached out to, and it was after several people suggested I reached out to her. Yeah,
Right.
well, sounds
And
like
I
you
didn't
guys
know anything
were able to
about
help
the,
each other.
yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't know anything about Christina's TikToks until.
Oh, I didn't realize that it was an extended weekend this weekend. I always wondered, why isn't MLK Day, and I always get it mixed up because I always think it's in February because that's when Black History Month is, but it doesn't have to be in February, but I always get it mixed up. And I never know when the Juneteenth day is. I know it's on a teen day, but I always get that one mixed up too.
Reached out to me. So
And I get Memorial Day and Labor Day mixed up. I've landed those two because Memorial Day is in May and Memorial starts with an M. That's the only way I've landed those two holidays.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, everybody who knew who Lauren was sort of abuzz about the fact that police had come and taken Christine out of the bar. So
when you say anyone who knew who Lauren was, do you think or know that people knew it was Lauren who organized for Christina to be taken?
Yeah, well, people told them. I mean, the other people who were there, Lindsay and all of those folks, I mean, if they were asked, they told them, and I told I told Ann Jeanette. So
yeah, you did. Yeah.
You know, I think people who, they knew what was going on. Yeah.
Good. So good. And I don't honestly, it's so ridiculous that Lauren gets on her live and goes that, and also Grayson later on Web Sleuth goes, oh, like no one would have known. No one would have known if we hadn't have done the live, right? No, you had police come to an event where everyone was and cart a woman away.
Right.
Everyone who's already had a couple drinks and talking, gossiping.
Right.
They know everybody and they have contacts everywhere in the true crime community.
Exactly.
Yep.
You did it in front of people from Law and Crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
what did you?
And also, just to make out like it's Law and Crime's fault also, right? Like to put any kind of blame on them whatsoever is ridiculous. Like all the media agencies were there. One of them was going to make a media request, if not them. I'm amazed more people didn't.
Yeah, I don't, I wasn't really privy to that. So I got home, and the more I thought about it, the madder I got about it. Really, the fact that she was trying to weaponize a stalking order. And, I spent a lot of my career in both criminal and family law, and they intersect a lot, dealing with people who had truly had stalkers or truly were afraid for their lives. And it made me mad. So when I got home, I went live and made a video about it. And then Lauren's attorneys then filed.
It's interesting that she says that because Christina did recently just do a video about this, what it's like to experience the law weaponized against you and then be publicly defamed on a large platform.
Still naming her, still referring to her as a stalker. You had Duty Ron pushing forth these lies and false narratives. You got doing her 9-hour and then the follow-up. I mean, what they've done to Christina and the way they have painted her and now showing her, comparing her essentially to that is just so damaging, not only to her psyche going through all of this, but to anyone who could search her name and things,
I wanted to believe that all of this was happening and playing out in a vacuum, but it wasn't. Over the past few weeks, I have had some reality checks that make that very clear. What was said publicly and what I was accused of publicly did not stay contained. It's impacted my life in a very real way. And while I don't have the answer to the question Jolene raised, I think it's also fair to ask if those who submitted declarations still stand by what they wrote, or can they acknowledge that they were misled?
And as I was letting the dogs out, I started thinking about how does Christina, how does she combat, how does she, correct, fix this reputational damage that these large channels on YouTube have done to her? It's
How does she?
It's crazy.
How does she do it? I mean, because if she went into the courtroom, that would be a lot of money. Probably money she doesn't have. So how does one go about doing that?
A affidavit. I'm not quite sure how Utah works, but they filed it.
To be honest, if I never really thought that far because I was stuck at the point where I was just so proud of the way Christina handled it that I didn't actually go that far to think of now what, right? Now what does she do? Because she must have some sort of trauma from all of this. I can't imagine that you wouldn't have trauma from it. I have trauma just talking about it. You know what I mean? I just yeah, wow. I agree with you. Both are very dangerous. Yeah. If you're talking about all three of them are dangerous, Lauren, John, and Grayson. As a New York City native, I'm ashamed of Duty Ron. Yeah, another channel that went after Christina for no reason. If you're a police officer, did you even research before you had her on? I don't think so. I'm down for whatever Christina needs. But only maybe she can answer that question. And then once we hear the answer to it, then maybe we can go about helping. But yeah, how does she regain her dignity and whatever else they took from her? Crusher was right. They were exploiting their relationship big time. Yeah. Judy Ron and Ed Wallace both are disappointing. We aren't the subhumans they are. They fell for Lauren's BS. I've always been kind of lenient on Judy Ron because I know he's going through some cancer issues and maybe we're not on top of things when we're not feeling the best. So I'm waiting to see, has he come forward and has he said anything else? Because he did that one live and then just kind of dipped. I know he was going through some cancer treatment. Jay's got a story about Judy Ron. I think his credentials need to be checked. Oh, I missed that. I did see Jay did but I think it's members only now, but she did a live and somehow my membership expired last night because I couldn't see it this morning, but she did a live with a Patreon that John, Grayson, and Lauren did on autism. Spoiler alert, they weren't doing a very good job on it.
Claim that Christina had put me up to that and that my doing that was a violation of her restraining order. That's how weird and attenuated this whole thing got. So her attorney, Christina's attorney, contacted me and asked me what had happened. I told him, and he said, well, I'm going to send you a subpoena because I need you to testify that Christina didn't put you up to that. That was the only reason I was called as a witness in that hearing. So Lauren gets on the 9-hour live and she keeps talking about, well, I don't know why Laurie Hellis was a witness because I haven't talked to her in years. And, well, that was why, because she accused me of being manipulated.
Yeah, I listened to it. And then I thought I'd peek back into it this morning, and then I realized it was a members only because it said members only, and I was like, oh shit, and I'm not a member anymore. Damn. I got a free membership one time. Someone donated a membership, a Cooter membership, so it was nice.
Christina. So, yeah. So the interesting thing was that I was present on the phone for that whole hearing because I was supposed to be a witness. So I was just sort of backstage waiting and listening. And it was really interesting when Lauren decided she didn't want to go in the courtroom because they were in there, and she wanted the courtroom cleared because she couldn't face them. And I thought, yeah, you probably can't face them. But this is what our American justice system is about. You make a complaint, you better have the balls to stand up in court and
absolutely
have the strength of your convictions. But
no,
it's not.
Not that one. Hang on, we'll come back to that one. Was Lauren held in high esteem by other true crime hosts before all this awfulness came out after the 9 Hour Live?
You know, I don't really know because I didn't overlap with Lauren a lot in those spaces by design. I mean, I just declined to overlap in those spaces. I never got the impression, and I was most friendly with the other law tubers. So, but I never got the impression from any of them that any of them found her to be real credible or sort of put a lot of stock in what she was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So I come from a background of watching LawTube more and hanging out with those guys more. And that's just no shade to anybody. That's just where I've been watching and the kind of panels I've been hanging out on. But from what I've seen, Lauren and John seem to stay on their own. Like they seem to not collaborate very much. They've got like their little group of friends. They just seem to be people who are kind of riding on their coattails a bit, like Trisha, for example.
Yeah.
But apart from that, they don't do the whole collaborating
I
thing.
don't feel like Trisha's necessarily riding on her coattails anymore. I feel like they're using Trisha because Trisha's the only one that will have any, well, and Megan, Trisha and Megan, they're the only ones, you know? So I think their friend group is really limited now. And nobody wants to touch them with a 10-foot pole except Vinnie Politan, and he hasn't even touched her since.
Like they don't do the whole everyone get on a panel together and
it'll be interesting now that Ashley has left the station if she will have Lauren on her channel.
Celebrate Christmas and someone's birthday or some like a Thanksgiving or Halloween, everyone get together and chat.
More to ice cream then.
Yeah, right. Like they don't like chill with other. They don't seem to be that kind. They're just really stiff.
Was that whose autism it was? I wasn't sure. I thought for a moment because I was like zipping around. I thought they were talking about Grayson's autism for a while, and I'm like, wow. And I was going to go back today and listen to it more because I was like, are they saying Grayson was violent as a child? But it must have been the brother that they were you were saying, the brother. Interesting topic.
From what I can tell.
Definitely not collaborative. And I think it's interesting because if you look historically, except for me, their guests don't tend to be other experts. Their guests tend to be the cousin of the victim or the niece of the
they are for sure looking for new victims, families. It's what they do. But that now they've got Crusha and us on their heinies that hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully they won't get new victims.
Uncle of the victim and they don't tend to bring in other experts.
No, I haven't. Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. I've never seen them do that, but I mean, I don't follow them that much. But that's
no.
Well, I do.
You would know. You would know.
I don't think you'll find. I don't think you'll find videos with them interviewing other experts or trying to get other people's input. I really think rely solely on their own expertise.
Well, they did seem to be a bit sort of threatened by you. And she actually said, she mentioned something in the 9 Hour Live about not wanting to go to law tube.
Yes.
Which
the bird is done showering. I'm trying to keep him quiet. He's having a day where he's screaming on top of it all. So he's screaming, and he's screaming because he knows I don't like the screaming. So he's screaming and then looking at me as he's screaming. So we try to ignore it. Then he gets the warning that you're going to go in the other room. So I'm sorry if the bird bothers you. Hopefully it doesn't.
It's like, yeah, right. I can't imagine Lauren getting along with many of the law tubers. You, sure, but
Yeah.
no, it's just not a thing. But anyway, back to Christina's thing for a little bit, just before we move on. So did you see, I sent you a PDF, did you see the civil stalking injunction, what we actually received a month or two later?
Yeah,
what Lauren put forth to the court. Yeah, so this only came forward via public records request a bit later. So I can bring it up if you like. What do you think about what was put forth regarding the previous stalking incidents and the witnesses that were put down by Lauren? So really, to me, this is falsifying a document. I can't see how it could be seen any other way. What do you think?
So I've been doing a little research.
Oh.
One of the things that my followers like from me is deep dives into the legal aspect of things. And one of the places that I often do that is in my newsletter, because these sort of formats don't really lend themselves to really deep dives and sort of the legal analysis that lawyers do. So I've been sort of diving in a bit into the Utah.
I wish I'd seen the end of it. Dang it.
Laws. Now, I will say, Utah is, Dolly, I'm in love with your cat. I am a crazy cat woman. I have 2 purebred Siamese. And is he a Bengal?
No, an Aussie cat.
Oh, okay.
Very similar.
Gypsy Rose is a piece of work.
Look, but
yeah, and a little bit of the wildcat. Oh, I see. We've got a little.
Speaking of wildcat, oh my God.
Yep. That's great. I love them. So Utah's law is a little bit, well, Utah does things a little unusually, you know. I mean, they kind of go their own way.
What was it?
Sure. But
what was the end? Because I mean, it all sounded pretty shocking to me. So what was the end that made it so shocking?
So I really did do quite a deep dive into whether or not the things that Lauren said would be considered stalking. Okay. So I think the important thing, I'm just going to read a little bit from the statute. It says an actor commits stalking if the actor, so that would be Christina, intentionally or knowingly engages in a course of conduct directed at a specific individual and knows or is reckless as to whether the course of conduct would cause this is the important part, reasonable person to fear for the individual's own safety or the safety of a third individual, or to suffer other emotional distress. So the statute goes on to define some of those terms, but really the ultimate thing is that emotional distress means significant mental or psychological suffering, whether or not medical or professional treatment or counseling is required.
Yeah.
But in asking whether or not that is significant, once again, you have to ask, would a reasonable person find that significant?
Reasonable, yes.
Now, I'm not going to get deep into the weeds on court cases because this isn't a LawTube channel, but there is an important case. And the reason I bring this up is because,
I went over to Everyday with Jay and it looks like it wasn't a members only. Maybe the video she clipped from it was only members only. But this is the we'll listen to this. We'll head over here and watch the end of this after we get done with this.
Christina's attorney, who is a really smart guy, and I had several conversations with him, cited this case. And also,
okay. So she's been talking to Christina's attorneys, but so that tells me Christina is working with an attorney.
Saying that
of course she would be.
Case
of course she'd be working with an attorney because she had to go to court that one time. Yeah, so of course she would.
Utah that talks about free speech versus stalking laws was argued by Christina's lawyer, James Dunkelberger. And they got a very positive outcome in arguing that you couldn't restrain someone's free speech. So that case, the Ragsdale case, is in Utah. But the U.S. Supreme Court case in 20.
Okay, good then. Maybe I was losing my mind because it's quite possible because I'm in a state today. All right, so it was private. It was members only, and now it's not. Gotcha. Well, I'm glad because now we can have a listen to it. But I also noticed that I'm not a cooter anymore. So
22 issued an opinion, and you have to know a little bit about the facts in order for it to make sense. The defendant, Billy, was harassing a local singer and musician. She never met this guy. She didn't know who he was.
I believe the LDS is funding hidden true crime somehow.
But she was a local performer, and he started stalking her. And some of the things that he was doing was posting threats on social media, and they were very threatening types of comments. I know where you live. I'm going to find you. A number of them expressed anger at her and envisaged harm befalling her. He said things like, fuck off permanently. You're not being good for human relations, die. He was making some really direct threats. So she finally asked for a stalking order, and he claimed that because he was only doing it on social media, that it was protected free speech. So the rule is that the state has to prove that in what they call true threat cases, that the defendant had some subjective understanding of his statement's threatening nature. But the First Amendment requires no more demanding a showing than recklessness. So what the Supreme Court said, the standard has always been that you have to that a true threat is an exception to the First Amendment, that a true threat is not protected speech. And so I'm just looking at my notes here. True threats are serious expressions conveying that a speaker means to commit an act of unlawful
We were set up and our first conversation lasted 3 hours and I think we covered 3 murders. So not the most normal first
Damn
date
it.
conversation, but we've been talking true crime ever since.
We knew it was something special because we were able to talk about a murder.
No, it's not you. I was muted again. The bird, like, I'm just going to stop muting myself when the bird screams. Just let it happen. What I was saying is I just can't seem to get into the Laurie Hellis interview. And over here, I had popped over here and I was looking at, I like to do a periodic search of hidden true crime to see what pops up when you put their name in. Because whoever's doing their PR work is really making it so that when you go and you put in their hidden true crime, what comes up first is everything good comes up. You know, nothing that what we're talking about comes up. We get the hidden true crime, the podcast, the YouTube, the Spotify, the Apple. Over on Reddit, it's like a Reddit page talking about the horrors of them being stalked, not the horrors of them stalking somebody. It's, you know, their narrative, what they want to have said out there. In the videos, it's nothing, none of our videos pop up. It's all their videos. It's like them being stalked, their shitty stuff on the Delphi case. And then let's go to the second one. And then I was shocked that their journalist Lauren Matthias and her forensic psychologist husband, Dr. John Matthias, tell their story. That's on NBC. Why is that on NBC? Why do we want to hear Lauren and John's story on NBC? Yeah, I'm impatient, so I don't know. And also, I feel like she's saying all the stuff that I've already heard her say before. So if you guys want me to go back to it, I will. But I'm having a hard time following it. My mind was wandering and I was off doing my searches. Let's see. When does it... Finally, we get Hidden True Crime Chat pops up. We finally... page 2... And it's still just Reddit that pops up. So one of the reasons why I'm continuing to do what I'm doing is I don't think a lot of their gems know what they're getting in, what's happening. I really don't. I'll go back, you guys. I'm in a weird mood today. And if you guys were enjoying it, then we can go back and, you know, just because my attention span is that of a newt doesn't mean that I have to drag you into it. And they don't give their sources for people who have difficulty accessing info in their style. So it just ends up being a private little stash of info. Right, Maria, worse than Casey in action. I will give benefit of the doubt that the baby Kaylee was unalived by accident, but is a lying manipulator. They're in the same cluster of personalities. Yeah, it's like weird. I find myself comparing her to all of the crazies. I compare her to Gypsy Rose. I've compared her to Casey Anthony. I've compared her to Laurie. I mean, yeah. Yeah, Gypsy's a hard one. I am going to talk about her next week, though. She seems to be getting hers, but and she gave away her TikTok account to her bestie Brie, and now she restarted her TikTok, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She started a new one, and she's up to 13,000 people. I'm like, 13,000? Why are you people following her? I don't get it. Might even been higher than that, but let's go back and see if I can center myself and try to pay attention.
Full violence. That's a true threat. Okay. So Gigi saying to Lauren, using a figure of speech like, man, I've heard a lot of stuff out there, and there are some people out there who want your head on a platter. It's a figure of speech clearly protected by the First Amendment, not a true threat.
Absolutely.
Even Lauren admits it was a vague threat in her 9-hour live. And so it boils back down to the reasonable person standard.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Would a reasonable person similarly situated in that situation find?
Yeah, I just popped over and took a peek at Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and it looks like she's up to almost 18K followers. So, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just like Hidden True Crime staying at over 300,000 followers.
That this was a true threat and so wasn't protected by free speech. And that's really what it boils down to.
And she didn't even say it. It was somebody else.
Right. Right. Yeah. Christina didn't say it. Gigi did. And, I've known Gigi long enough to know if Gigi had any idea that this was going to boil off, she would have never said it.
Yeah.
But I also know that Gigi was in the ICU with her very much beloved grandmother, who she described as her ride or die. Yeah. And she got frustrated with Grayson because Grayson kept bugging her.
Okay,
Grayson would never do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that case law is pretty clear, but it also applies to someone who actually made those threats, right? Christina is the person who made the TikToks.
Right.
But she's not the person who said those words, even though those words are irrelevant.
Right.
Right. And I mean, I'm just going to bring this up for a second. If you don't mind.
Yeah, the vague third-party hearsay kind of statements.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is nuts.
They're not actionable under the statute. But interestingly, what is actionable under the statute are sending letters to someone's family.
Yeah.
Or their employer.
I saw that, Amy. That's horrible that these gems, these are the people that are supporting Lauren and John. I would be mortified if those were my supporters, because I gotta say, racism is like, it's the thing I gun for the hardest, because it's like just being angry at someone because of the color of their skin is just shocking to me. But Amy from Unsolved Amy Boston, and I saw your clip that you put up, that the person came in and said the N-word, and they didn't just say it, they like used each word, each letter for each space, like for a line. So it wasn't just like, wasn't just the word, it was like a stream of it. And that's the gems for you.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. So when and where did the first talking attempt happen? 9th of April, Maricopa County Courthouse. Well, we know what happened then, and that was just a conversation.
Yeah.
That was the only in-person event that happened between her and Christina, and it was just a conversation. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only in-person.
Here, I pulled it up. Let me show it for you guys, what I'm talking about. So Amy, Hidden True Unsolved Amy Boston, we've done a few panels with her. We did a New Year's Eve panel with her. Be sure to check her out. In her community section, she posted this: Hidden True Slime has the most wholesome audience. So beware of Mars Maniac 9696, because this is what they'll do.
Yeah.
It was in front of the bailiffs there. Like they were right inside the doorway with where security was to go in.
Yep.
Okay, and then on the 11th, an email from respondent to petitioner. She's calling that a stalking activity. And we've seen the email.
Oh, I think Hella's done like a hell of an amazing job. I'm just like, I'm in a weird space today where I'm having a hard time following.
There's no threats in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this is what really gets me. Her other stalking events are see declaration of Laura Mathias and Grace in your read dozens of other incidents. Dozens.
No,
Head on the planet
hundreds.
is- Thousands. Head on a platter is not even her words.
Right.
Rape.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm talking about her brother.
She's talking about a TikTok.
But that is one of my peeves, you guys. Just because I say something that I don't enjoy doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the person in general, or like, it just means that I'm struggling with it. It doesn't mean that I'm trashing the person or that we need to set them afire and never go look at them again. It just means that I'm struggling with something today, or it's just not to my liking, or, I am not a hater person. If I don't like something, don't call me a hater, because that annoys the F out of me. And I know I told you I'm super sensitive today, but it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm having a hard time because I feel like it's all over the place. And I'm like, usually I'm like, I try to vibe with the interview and try to loosen up my mind and my grip on things, but I've talked about it the whole live. I'm going through something today. I'm hormonal. I don't know what the F it is, but I'm just having a hard time with it.
Right. And
actually, she's talking about comments that came from a TikTok. That once again, other people, not Christina.
Yeah. This
Thank
is in
you very
Australia.
much for
Other
clarifying.
people saying,
I love Hella.
How can somebody who's in a vegetative state consent? That's a valid question.
Thank you.
But nobody in that conversation.
They do great work, whether it's been given to them or spoon-fed to them or whatever they do with it. I love what they do with it, but today I'm just struggling with it.
Thread ever used the word grape, and nobody in that thread ever said that they thought.
I mean, the birds screeching, whenever he vibes off of my vibe, and I've got to be careful I can't stay in this kind of state for too long, because he gets overexcited and he'll start plucking his feathers. Like, I have intense emotions. I always have. And I just wish I could not have intense emotions, right? You want to come over and say hi for a minute? Okay. Can you say hi to the people? Huh? Hi. Are you okay? What can mommy do for you? Are you going to use your words? You want mommy to turn your shower back on? You want mommy to turn your shower back on? Yeah? Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to do that. But I'm going to start this back up, and yeah, so I just, please don't get out. I'm sitting here. Okay. Mommy's going to turn your shower back on. But let me finish my thought. Okay. Don't kill my vibe. Right? Okay. I like Hella. I'm just having a hard time with it today.
That Lauren was non-consensually going to do anything.
Yep.
They asked the question, how can someone who has catastrophic brain damage consent to something like that?
Yep. So again, not Christina.
No.
No. And going public, that was again in the conversation with Gigi.
Yeah.
So not Christina.
Right. None of it.
And then 19th of the 6th, online multiple social media accounts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. On the 19th of June, there were no TikToks.
Right.
No tiki-takis.
So what, this is lying. This is all lying.
It is.
Well,
This is lying, right? And then
at best, it is embroidering what small
Thank you.
bits of truth, factual truth might be.
it's not outright lying. She's just being very, very, very clever in how she words things to try to get what she wants.
I think it's lying.
It's very dishonest. I don't know if I would say it's outright lying, but it is very manipulative.
Well, okay, then she goes and lists names of people who witnessed the stalking. John DeLynn did not witness any stalking.
No, he just received an email.
He received an email from someone who does not even know Christina.
Right.
And then she's gone and put Officer Jacobs, the guy who was like trying to get the hell away from her that night in Boise.
Yeah.
Right? What? He closed the investigation off.
Right.
He did not witness any stalking.
So
this is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And here's my opinion from having tried these cases before myself. You know, she went on her 9-hour live. And
I wonder, does she ever ask her if Christina has any type of case against Lauren and John? Does she ever ask that question? Because I do wonder that.
Claimed that she was forced to drop her stalking order. But the truth of the matter is she could see the handwriting on the wall. The judge in the hearing that I was in on was very clear that he was not he was not impressed with what had been presented, and that if her attempt was going to be to stifle Christina's free speech, he wasn't having any of it. And he really telegraphed that toward the end of the trial.
Junie says a lot, and he can say up to, like, I've clocked about, he just says about 4 or 5 words. But birds are flock talkers, so they will talk when you talk, so it often sounds like he's talking over me, right? But they're flock talkers, so he just thinks I'm talking to him. But he says so much. But his favorite words these days are okay. He loves to say yes and okay. So that's what you heard him say.
Everybody's heard that and seen the transcript. So I definitely come down more on the side of Lauren could see the handwriting on the wall. She could see that despite the fact that all of these things were going to get aired, that the judge wasn't going to find in her favor. And it made more sense for her to go on a 9-hour live that she could monetize, and then she could spin that information any way she wanted. Sure.
Or try to control. I mean,
yeah,
backfired. But
well, you know, I mean, I think most of us standing back thought, who thought this was a good idea? Had she simply said nothing,
they never asked it.
I think it would have all died down.
Oh,
and, you know,
so Kat Ballou says, I asked in the comments if Christina could sue for reputational harm. I'm wondering about that and harassment, but it wasn't responded to. And if Laurie spoke to Christina's lawyer, I wonder if that was ever discussed. I'm sure she could, but I don't think Christina would, sadly. I think it would be too expensive and time consuming, and I don't know. I wish there were an answer for her, because that's going to be rolling around in my head now. What can Christina do? Because I'm always looking for like an outcome, solutions, and I don't know. But I guess we have to live with being like there not being an outcome or a solution to this. This could just be just her being exposed like this could be the outcome and solution.
At that point, Christina had what, 15 followers? I mean, maybe 100 at that point on those TikToks. It was
on that channel, yeah.
It was literally nothing.
She's not a true crime creator. She has another platform that's completely separate. So on this, nobody was watching it. I mean, she just.
Thank you and welcome to the channel.
It's not that you're nobody or anything. I'm just saying that, like, to Lauren, there was no threat.
And yes, there was a kerfuffle at CrimeCon, but the percentage of people who knew that happened and the percentage of people who really, that it mattered to, was really small. So if she had just buttoned her lip, it would have blown over. Now it's become a horrible tempest. And, you know, there are channels that are simply not going to let this go.
I forget I'm not the only Amy in the world. You're probably talking about Amy Boston. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
So, hey, Chris. Chris has got a question. How are you, mate? So, does Laurie think Lauren filed false report? If so, why? What could her reason be for framing using a stalker narrative? Thanks. Good question.
I think, first of all, I think that this was not the first of these kind of cases where we'd had a creator file stalking charges or something like that against somebody else to silence them. There were other people that were doing it. I think Lauren was aware of that, and I think she felt like that was an avenue. It doesn't cost anything to file a stalking order. It's a fairly
I thought
under
you
the
were.
radar kind of an action.
I
So I
thought you
think she
were,
thought,
and that's why it dawned on me that you were probably not even talking to me. But I was saying to Amy when we did our New Year's Eve live, one of my best friends in college is named Amy, and there were a lot of Amy's in college. In the house that I pledged to, there were 3 Amy's. And so it was, and then there were 2 Amy W's. So I was Amy Will for a while. And she was Amy Wee, and I was Amy Will. So, there's a lot of Amy's in the world, but it got to the point where my bestie Amy, I knew, like, when you were talking about that Amy or me Amy, I just haven't gotten to that point with the Amy Boston. Yes. Plus, it's hard to know what people are talking about through just text only, right? So.
I honestly think that she thought she was a big enough bully that if she filed that Christina would back down, that she would take down the TikToks, and that would be the end of it, because Christina wouldn't want the publicity of having to go to a hearing.
Miscalculation.
I think it was a miscalculation on her part. I think she just wanted to, yeah, right. She really felt like she could bully somebody she saw as a little person into backing down and taking it all down. And
I don't think she thought Christina was gonna be the person that Christina turned out to be, which I'm very impressed with Christina and the way she handled it. But I never actually, I'm like kind of irritated with myself because I never really took into consideration the trauma that poor Christina, I just thought about her strength, but I mean, there must be a lot of trauma that she's dealing with too.
Really good segue into what we're about to talk about next, because she wanted to bully who she thought was a little person into backing down, right? Because she thinks pretty much everyone's a little person compared to her.
It was really good, okay, and I want to get there, but I'm trying to get us through this. I'm like a kid, like I want to go over to Jay's. I want to go over and watch Jay's.
And yeah. And now I want to kind of go back a bit and talk about the fact that, Laurie, you are one of the people who, sorry to say it, but you kind of were pulled into her world.
Yeah.
Right? Her world. And I think that a lot of people, maybe in chat today, maybe people watching later, no judgment, but I wasn't. Denise, you weren't.
I still think she's lovely.
You still think she's lovely. I never liked them. But she's in a way, like
she's very charming.
Yeah, apparently she's very charming, right?
Yeah, she's very nice to me.
She's able to get people's trust. She seems quite nice. She seems kind of believable, but she's manipulative, right? Now, if there's one thing that you can remember about, like, when you were with her and like talking to her every week, every day, like, what was the first like red flag, I suppose, for you? When did you start thinking, hey, maybe she's like bitching about me behind my back, or when is she not quite what I thought she was?
So there were a couple of instances, but I was very new to this online business. You know, I had no clue. And there was a conflict with another creator that.
Oh, I didn't know she had people showing up to our house. Tanya Jones says, Amy, Christina had at least 2 separate times where people showed up to her house because of this. She actually got so scared at one point, she took her kids out of school for a while. Yeah, I'm a little angry. I'm a lot angry at myself that I didn't, like I wasn't thinking about the trauma, but I mean now I am. So, and I guess like we're just here for Christina. Like I don't. That's all I can do for her right now until I can figure out. We can figure out what she needs. That's really scary.
You and I talked about before the show, and it's not really a rabbit hole to go down, but I think that was the point that I thought, oh, something feels funny here. Something doesn't feel right. And something didn't feel right about the way that Lauren was quick to bring Kay Woodcock into it. It was a beef among creators, and Lauren was really quick. It had to do with the Valid Daybell case, and Lauren was really quick to bring Kay in. And in part, it was to use Kay as sort of leverage, but in part, it was to be sure that Kay was still lined up on her side.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, our side.
Well, I mean, it's been said that she liked to keep Kay and Larry in their pocket, and we just saw that she plopped her son down on Larry's lap and said, "Call him Papa." That's disgusting.
I mean, there was a lot going on, and I think that was the first time that I thought that doesn't feel right. Yeah.
Would you have left on your own?
Yeah, I think that there would have been a point that I would have said, if I'm going to continue to do this, I really was concerned that I had gotten to the point where I needed to have more control over the message because it was my reputation as a lawyer. And I needed to be sure that I was operating ethically.
Yeah.
Did she go into asking about the argument? Like, I know she talked about the argument with Dr. John, and maybe I wasn't paying attention, but did she ask, like, was she told why she was never going to be on the show again? And was there like an issue? Did they have a fight, an argument? Did that get, I don't know.
I do think that there would have been a point that we would have stopped collaborating because, there were some, I had some concerns.
Yeah.
They weren't necessarily concerns that somebody who wasn't a lawyer would have, but lawyers are held to a higher ethical standard. And there were times that I thought, I really need to protect that. My reputation as an ethical lawyer is very important to me. And so,
right? Christina didn't even go to her house. I mean, she was invited to her house once for a pool party at the homeowners association, but yeah, Christina's, if this is true, then Christina has been stalked and Lauren has not, which seems about right. Seems about right and about fitting with this case. So stupid that it just, I'm mad. I'm mad that about her plopping her son down on Larry's lap. I'm mad that now I'm finding that somebody actually went to Christina's home. I'm mad at myself that I didn't even think about the trauma that Christina, I was all proud of like her strength but we all have that trauma too. And I don't know.
I'm certain there would have been a point where I would have said, I think maybe I need to sort of go and do my own thing. I'm not necessarily a person who would have burned my bridges. I probably would have just said, it's time for me to move on. But
you tried not to. Like, you tried really not to burn the bridges when she let you go on your merry way. Right. Like, you tried to keep things like collaborative, but she ghosted you.
Yeah, the weird part about it was she just ghosted me for several weeks. And when I finally emailed her and said, what the heck, she sort of gave me a few evasive answers.
If they did their Friday lives, how did she ghost her for 2 weeks? Wow.
Answers. And, it was just clear at that point that something was up. She wasn't really going to explain to me. Now she says, it really wasn't anything. But it's very clear.
Oh, well, our Dr. Yan says it was something. It was something.
I was clear from the beginning, and my book is clear from the beginning, that I believed that Laurie and Chad Daybell were motivated by their learning from the LDS Church. And it's very, the LDS Church, the mainstream church, will say, oh, they kind of went off on a tangent and that's not really what they believe. But if you study it, you realize that if mainstream Mormon doctrine is midnight, what Laurie and Chad were doing is 1201. It's not that far off. And, people in our discussions would ask those questions because she did not portray herself as being an LDS true crime person. And although she was very open about the fact that she was a member of the church, I was just as open about the fact that I wasn't a member of the church, but that I had done research and that I had studied and that I had had some exposure to the church through my family, and that I felt that the LDS teachings were a component of what Chad and Laurie did. And I think as we got further into that,
I don't think we need to be influenced by anybody. I mean, I'm sitting over here trying to break off all those kind of past programming of influence where, from the very beginning, we're programmed to care what other people think. But why? Why? Because they don't care what we think, in all actuality, right? They don't care really about, most people. So I just urge you guys to take it to yourself, take it to your family, and then, take it to your close friends. But of course, if you believe in God, which I do, that's first too.
She tries to paint herself as, I'm sort of this middle of the road. Sometimes I think I'm agnostic, and sometimes if you've watched her Mormon stories.
The way she paints her Mormonism, I can't quite put my finger on it. I cannot figure out if I believe she's still Mormon, but she likes to play both sides of the fence. She likes to play the anti-Mormon people, and she likes to play the Mormon people. And she's pretty good at it. Or she was pretty good at it up until, she showed her ass.
She sort of hedges all her bets around her Mormon membership.
Yeah.
However, she still has a pretty deep allegiance to the church. And I think that was one of the sticking points for her, although she wouldn't tell me that. I think that one of the things that bothered her was that I voiced my opinion that Laurie and Chad's motivation for what they did was in part influenced by the teachings of the church. So I think that was, some of the text messages that have come out later pretty clearly illustrate that she was resentful that I was making the church look bad.
Speaking of text messages, we've had some new ones drop actually in the last sort of 24 hours. We've got some older ones that I wanted you to comment on, and we've had some new ones as well, and kind of going to try and put them in chronological order. And it's cool because we've got you
new text. I'm really happy I stuck with it now
here to put them in more context than we had before. It just shows she acts like you're kind of nothing. She on the 9 Hour Live, she's like, not many people watch her. She's a small channel. Nobody really watches her. It's like, well, you seem to be pretty worried about Laurie Hellis when she left. You seem to be actually kind of worried. So let's have a look at that. Let us have a look at that. We're just going to change setups now. And give me a moment, guys. In fact, would you mind reading out some super chats, please?
Yeah.
Mr. Fidelli?
All right. So we got Helen Johnson Fred became a new member. Thank you. Let's see.
Thank you.
Yeah, much appreciated. And then we got Dawn Schaefer giving 5 Hella Excited Utterance memberships. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, turn chat green. Sweet, Miss Laurie. And this was addressing the whole thing regarding the fact that you have been keeping one time slot for your stream, right? So because you started your own stream a few weeks after Lauren decided that you must part ways. And little did you know it was because you cut off John in his moment of raging malemotion. But you kept to your time slot. You had decided that you would be at Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific. And they had started doing what?
So I have to back up just a little bit. I started my stream in October of 22. So this is October to December. Before I did that, I reached out to Lauren and I said to her, I'm thinking about starting my own channel. I won't do it if it is going to cause any problems for you. But what I envisioned was my stream being an hour long, and I would talk about the legal issues in many of these cases, mostly at that point, the valid Daybell case. And then I would end promptly so that people, because their show usually was Friday nights at 7. So I said, well, if I start at 6, people will be able to just roll directly over into you. I thought that was a collaborative, cooperative kind of an idea. And she was effusively, she has a lot in common with Laurie Vallow sometimes. She was very effusively supportive. Oh, that's a great idea. We'll support you. We'll promote you.
Effusively, the words.
We'll do all these things. She was just over the top, excited about me doing this. Very supportive. They were, oh yeah, we'll promote you. Never once did they, but they said they would. So,
Really?
oh yeah.
Not even once?
Not once. Mm-mm.
Wow.
Jeez.
So I started my channel, and my intention was that I would start at 6, I would end at 7, and everybody would be free to go right over to Lauren and John's. Just a natural, you know. Now we redirect people, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was reasonable. Now I will say, Lauren, her start and end times were sometimes moving targets. She didn't always start on time. People complained.
Well, Lauren did that with Lindsay, remember? She doesn't like when people branch off on their own. As soon as Lindsay branched off, she had to go. You got to go. You don't got to go home, but you got to go from Hidden True Crime.
Would not start on time. But I'm a former military girl. I start and end things on time. So so this went on for the first few weeks. And then all of a sudden she started scheduling at 6:30. So after I'd already been on for half an hour, or she started scheduling at 6. And her start time kept creeping to overlap mine.
Of course.
So I reached out to her and I said, hey, can we talk about this? Crickets. And so finally, people started getting on my ass about why I was scheduling over the top of Lauren. And that is the reason why I put that thing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
yeah, the whole scheduling thing and trying to get your live out there is like, I do find that annoying. Yeah. But I will admit that if I'm going to do a live, I will look around I'll look around to see who's going to do a live. And if it's a larger channel, I try to schedule around it. I'll try to go an hour or two before them, or I'll wait. Because what's the point of doing your live if a larger channel's doing it and you share subscribers and they're going to be all over there? I mean, you can do it for the replay, which I love my replay crew. I love it. I get my Sarah Boone is my sleeper content, it just will creep up for the next week or two, and more and more people will see it, and people don't catch my live. But for the most part, when you do a live, you want people there, right? So when I did my live on New Year's Eve, someone was like, oh, please try not to do your live at the same time as Jay. And I'm like, oh, please don't do that to me. Don't put that on me, because one, it's not even my own live. I'm joining somebody on the live. So I don't really have control over the scheduling. And plus it's New Year's Eve. I can't. But yeah, so the whole scheduling thing. But you know what? I love content creating so much that if that's one of the hassles, big deal, right? But it is. But what a shitty thing. And Lauren's doing it on purpose. I know, and
I got tired of people saying, why are you scheduling over Lauren? Are you so jealous of her? And are you so mean? People saying, I was the one who had sour grapes, that I was the one who was mad because I wasn't on her channel anymore. And so, I was scheduling over the top of her. So that is why I put out that statement. And it was the only time.
But I do it for the smaller channels too. I don't just plop down if the other day I wanted to do a live and I saw Unsolved Amy Boston had a live planned, and so I didn't do it. Like I'm not a content creator that if I'm looking around to see if there's bigger channels, if I see one of my friends is doing a live too, I won't plop down on them. But it's also very difficult because I don't always look. So if I do plop down on someone, it's not by it's not, I'm not doing it on purpose. But I get what Laurie's saying though. I mean, she was trying to co-collaborate, set it in a way where, hey, I'm gonna start a channel, and I'm like, what do you think about me starting at 6 so that we can lead into and then all of a sudden I'm doing this in a way. Laurie was piggybacking onto Hidden True Crime, but they were both piggybacking off of each other. And then Lauren's like, oh, nay, 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 nay. I will plop down right on you.
Since she and I parted ways, that I ever addressed anyone's concerns or questions about why I ended with Lauren. From then on, from October of 2022 until just recently after CrimeCon, I never addressed it. People would ask me and I would say, ask Lauren, or I would say, I don't want to talk about it, or I would just ignore them.
Yeah.
So I never addressed it.
You finally felt you needed to.
And it wasn't until after CrimeCon, when all of these things were coming out about what a crappy person she was, that I said, well, allow me to tell you my story.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Because sometimes when people are like that popular, well, they seem to be that popular, and the general consensus is, well, why would you go after somebody when they've done nothing wrong?
Right.
Then it would look really petty for you to bring up something kind of from the past. But if everyone's sort of coming out with their, oh, well, this happened to me, then yes, it's like that. It's like, well, all right, well, since you guys are talking about it, then I feel more comfortable telling you what's happened.
Right.
And that makes more sense.
Ultimately, after it kept happening over and over again, I moved my stream to Wednesday nights, and it's been Wednesday night ever since. But there have been occasions where she does a surprise live right over the top of me. Yeah. So, I mean, it kept happening, but it was less on when I moved to Wednesdays. So.
Right. So I found this post because there are text messages we're about to show about.
Was fibromyalgia diagnosed in 2008? I thought it was sooner than that, because I feel like I was diagnosed it in the 90s. Because I have fibromyalgia, but I can't tell you exactly when I was diagnosed. Now I'm going to have to Google that.
Her responding to this post.
Right.
So your post says, okay, good friends of the good Laurie, I need to vent. This is your trigger warning. If you want to avoid drama, please ignore this. Now, note, Laurie posts about scheduling conflicts with HTC. The post receives 267 likes and 279 comments. People are overwhelmingly supportive of Laurie's predicament as she describes her attempts to stay clear of HTC's ever-moving time slots. So that's on December 18, 2022. And I've just put a few people's comments here just to show a bit of a cross-section of what people were saying in your comment section. Dale, would you like to do the reading?
Sorry, muted. Okay, so it looks like, I don't know when it started to mute, but it looks like it was diagnosed in the late 90s. So that's when I was diagnosed with it, because it was when I started my first social work job, which was as a foster care. I was a foster care worker. And I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia and endometriosis at the same time. So, and I was like, when they told me I had fibromyalgia, I was like, well, what do I do with that? And they're like, nothing. And then I remember at the time too, doctors didn't even like you were almost, I didn't tell people, I didn't tell doctors. I told them in the beginning that I had it. And then after that, the way they looked at me and the way they treated me and they acted like it was all in my head after, that it wasn't even a real thing. Thank God now most doctors consider it to be a real thing, but there was a real period of time. And I'm sure if you have fibromyalgia, there was a real period of time where you were considered like it was all in your head. So I didn't tell people I had it for a long time. I just stopped saying it. But yeah. It's you have these pressure points, certain points in your body that hurt all the time, and there are certain symptoms that you have, and it's like if it's prolonged and repetitive, and yeah, it's a series of tests. I think now they even have like more of an in-depth kind of test that they can do, but collective symptoms. But I think I saw the other day, I don't know, don't quote me on this, on the ticky-tacky streets, that they might have some type of blood test, but don't quote me on that because I say that, but I sounds kind of wrong, but also right. I don't know. Primary care doctors in 2010 era had disdain for, yeah, I don't know why they had such disdain for it. Probably because it's a real, it's an autoimmune and it's repetitive and it's like frustrating. And I'm sitting over here. One of my symptoms of when I get a flare is I sneeze, and I'm over here sneezing a lot. And I'm thinking, oh shit, I hope I'm not getting a flare, right? And I fell the other day. So I'm really hoping I'm not getting a MS flare, because one of my MS symptoms are when that's going to flare is I start running into walls and falling. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's get back to this. So MS or fibromyalgia. Yeah, all right, sorry. Those are like when I hear new things, I just have to go off and figure it and work it out in my head. And so, okay, fibromyalgia was diagnosed somewhere in the 90s.
You always stay in your lane of law and constitution. Also, let audience know if speculation is occurring. Your schedule is always consistent. You obviously have been professional.
Might be something else that I was looking at, because I also have this hair in my head, and I'm actually 90% sure that I have this elder Daniels ED. Because I've got the stretchy skin, it's like velvet. I've got the joint issues. I'm really flexible. I've got the pains, and I've got the face too. You've got like a lot of people with it have the same kind of nose and eyes, and so it might have been that I was thinking of.
Thank you. This is concerning. I feel like you are used in a way. I'm surprised they're acting like they are. Not very professional, in my opinion. Thank you for sharing.
I got to get myself to a doctor. I have real trauma around the medical industry, and it's like I really need to get in to see a doctor. I just really, and it's one of those things that I'm going to talk to the doctor about, but because I've been through a period of time where, so First, I had pulmonary embolisms, then I had back surgery, then I had a stroke, And through all of that, I was having severe pain issues. I was on like tons of pain medications. So even though I was being prescribed the pain medications, I was being treated like a drug addict. And so I just have real medical trauma, and I just am praying that I find a good doctor that I can trust again, that I can just, undump all of my symptoms on, and we can maybe try to figure it out without blame or trauma, or like I've gotten to the point where I'm off of almost all medications except like more natural medications. They're all prescribed, but they're more of the natural variety. So I don't want new medications put on me, and I'm just looking for that unicorn doctor, and I wonder if he or she exists out there. But yeah.
Afraid that might happen for some reason. I'm so sorry. Just do your thing. Stay sweet and kind, and hopefully she'll come around. I'll continue to watch your show.
Oh, the devil lettuce is my bestie. So I do the devil's lettuce, and I also microdose through a company named Joyous.
Hopefully she'll come around.
Oh, I doubt it.
Nah, I doubt it. These people all seem really supportive of you. So, and I read like a lot of the comments, and people all were just
trauma
like,
sucks.
Damn. Sorry, you have to with that.
Trauma sucks, and we all got it. And I'm getting close to the point where I'm ready to start sharing it. I couldn't share it before without feeling weak and sounding weak, and being weak is like the one thing that I don't want. I don't want people to perceive me as weak, because I'm not. And I don't want people to feel sorry for me. Those are the two things that I don't hate. I hate, and I don't want. And I think I'm at the point where I can share this trauma with people and still feel strong, right? Because that's important to me. And I recognize that we all have trauma. Like, we all have trauma. And sometimes it just helps when people share their trauma, because you can kind of relate to the trauma, or you're like, oh, hey, I've experienced that too, and like maybe I'm not so weird, or maybe it's okay to feel this way, or even maybe I can support this person that's sharing this. Maybe I can get support, right? So I feel like I'm getting to that point where I'm okay with sharing these things with people. It's not easy, but I think that it's important to share.
After I put that message out, I did feel like people understood what was going on, and it did validate for me that I should keep going and keep doing what I was doing. Yeah.
Okay, so then here's Lauren texting people about this post.
Aw.
Do you want to be Lauren?
Always. Laurie Hellis is writing about me. It's hurting both.
Okay, I'm going to read this. So, but I want to make sure my mic is on. Okay, so here's Lauren Matthias. Laurie Hellis is writing about moi. It's hurting both me and John, and I want you to know what she is saying isn't true. I don't want drama, and we plan to ignore it, but I just wanted to share that with my closest true crime friends. And whoever this is says, oh goodness, you mean on Twitter? I haven't seen anything and wouldn't believe it or take anything negative said about you and John with as worth any value if I did see it.
Me and John. Aw, and I want you to know what she is saying.
Before, I wanted to get Laurie's take on it.
So Lauren says, during a break, a reporter I used to work with got up and saw me and gave me a big hug right in front of Resh. I went out with reporter for a bit, and now that I'm back in, Scott is up front talking to Laurie Hellis. Eye emoji. Very interesting. By the way, vote. Should I or should I not ask Laurie what is up? Oddly, I feel kind of scared to do so. I have no qualms going up and talking to Annie or Janice or Kresha, who gave me a big hug yesterday, but for some reason, Hellis is tougher. So she doesn't have a problem going up to those people that she was backstabbing, but for some reason, for some weird, odd reason, Laurie Hellis is just like, she's feeling weird about.
So, do you want to read this, Miss Sally?
During break, a reporter I used to work with got up and saw me.
I do not know, but I am absolutely certain that she knew better.
And Krusha has something up on the, oops, I meant to do that. And Krusha down here, Krusha is difficult research. She must have been in the chat. And she says, and this is when I noticed Lauren distancing herself from Laurie Hellis. I was like, well, I'll be damned.
Than to get near me. Yeah.
And Krusha says, and this is when I noticed Lauren distancing herself from Laurie Hellis. I was like, well, I'll be damned. There you go. So, but that's April 2023, though.
Yeah, that's during Laurie Vallow's trial.
Yeah, why did
right. Because, yeah, I was going to say, like...
Why did NBC do an article on them? Like, why do we have a love story article about John Mathias and Lauren Mathias? Like, okay. That's how you know, like, I keep saying like, ugh. That's how you know real news, the for realsy news isn't for realsy, like, oh, shit. Who gives a F, right?
She would have been distancing herself a lot earlier than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
That was probably like the first public appearance you had where she was there.
Yeah, I think that's true.
One of the first.
Yeah, I think that's true. That was probably the first place where other people who knew both of us would have been.
That's true. Actually, for realsy news now, you can pay them to get your stories, and look what People Magazine does for Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
It makes sense. Actually, before we go there, I want to ask you something. Was it Laurie's trial that you were kicked out of?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, please, Laurie Hellis.
Yeah.
Give us the scoop on that one.
Right about the same.
Speculating.
Yeah, right about the same time.
Yes.
I don't know, it was 3 or 4 days into Laurie's trial. And the judge had said, now I have to preface this by saying, 2 years or better before, I was in Fremont County, which is where the case originated, in their little bitty courthouse, for a preliminary hearing of some kind. And I had set an alarm, a medication alarm on my phone. I did not realize that when you put your phone on silent, that doesn't turn off your alarms. And so my alarm went off in the courtroom. And the judge had already made very clear that he wanted phones turned off. So the bailiff came over and took my phone, and I readily gave it to him. And the hearing went until lunchtime. And the judge, made me sit in the courtroom and wait for him to decide what to do about my phone while he had lunch. And, I mean, trust me, I've been a lawyer for 30 years. I know this game.
Yeah.
And, but it was totally my responsibility, and it was totally my fault. And I was very apologetic to the judge, and I apologized and said, I learned something new about my cell phone, and please accept my apologies. They returned my phone, and I went on my way. And I never set alarms on my phone again. So 2 years later, we're in the courthouse during Laurie Vallow's trial. And the judge had been very clear about phones need to be silenced. You can use them, but and people were live tweeting constantly. Remember, the judge had said there wouldn't be any live streaming of her trial, and the recordings of her trial would only be released in the evenings after the trial day was over. So there was the only way for people to get information was for people who were in the courtroom. So we were all pretty frantically tweeting what was going on. And suddenly the bailiff walked up to me and said, I need your phone and come with me. And I said, okay. And I walked outside the courtroom, and I handed him my phone. And he said, I need you to unlock it. And I unlocked it, and he sat there and went through a bunch of stuff. And he said, someone said you were taking pictures of Laurie Vallow in the courtroom. And I said, absolutely not. I'm a lawyer. I mean, why would I do that? That's, if anybody knows how to behave themselves in a courtroom, it's me. And I said, I didn't do that. What was interesting was that the person who seems to have brought that to everyone's attention was Brandon Hobbs, who was the investigator for Laurie that it is rumored that Lauren was quite friendly with. Well,
very friendly.
We know they were friendly enough.
We've said it before. Okay. Yes.
So I don't think that it's coincidental that somebody on Laurie Vallow's side of the courtroom accused me of taking pictures. And even though
That's the rumor that's been going around, and the rumor, and this is just rumor, this is all alleged for entertainment and educational purposes only, that she doesn't want this to get back with John, and it's one of the reasons why she's gunning so hard for all of this.
I handed my phone to the bailiff. You know, I mean, I wasn't happy about it. I was pissed off about it because I had a sneaking suspicion that somebody in the courtroom had done that.
So hang on, can I interrupt for a moment? Didn't you tell me the other day that you couldn't read your phone properly, and so you?
Yeah. So I'm old, and I've had cataract surgery, and so there's a certain distance where I can't read my phone.
I can't either.
So I probably
if I don't have my glasses on, I can't see anything, and they're not even they're readers. So yeah, I'm old too, and the whole TikTok is a nightmare when I'm trying to read it on my phone. Even with my glasses on, I sometimes can't read the super small writing. Sucks.
Holding it up higher than the judge would have liked, but I certainly wasn't taking any pictures.
Sure.
And they confirmed that. So we all went to lunch. We came back into the courtroom, and the judge then said, "Before I start, I need to deal with a problem." And I'm sure that they did. I need to deal with a problem. We're not going to put up with any sort of behavior in the courtroom. And so, bailiff, would you escort her out? So he did it in front of everyone in the gallery before court started. And so they escorted me out. Initially, I said there was a large room, overflow room.
It didn't do well also because Hidden True Crime gave out copies of it. That's another thing that she did against Laurie. So, but yeah, I don't think it did very well. But again, don't quote me on that one. 52. Yeah. You know, I love being old. It was, I never wanted to get old, never. But now that I'm old, I love it. I love it. But what I hate about it is my body. I just wish like the body could get with it.
It was the county commissioner's meeting room where they were closed circuit. They had closed circuit TV in there of the trial. So I said, "Can I go watch in there?" And initially they said, "Yes, you can." So I was in there. Then the court administrator came in later and said, "I need to ask you to leave the courthouse." And I said, "Wow, hold on. This just doesn't seem right." And she said, "Well, if you want to get back in the courtroom, you have to come and talk to the judge before court." So I went early so that I could talk to the judge, and they wouldn't let me through court security, so I couldn't get there in time. So I finally ended up going in front of the judge that afternoon. And it was hilarious because I had filed documents trying to get sealed documents and had appeared in front of this judge. I had stood up in front of this judge and made my case for getting those documents. He knew exactly who I was. And so when I went in front of him, I said to him, "You know, I can't help but feel that this is somewhat personal." And he looked at me and he said, "I don't know why you think this is personal because I don't know who you are." And I just shook my head and I said, "You know exactly who I am." Oh! And I said, "At this point, I want to know whether you are throwing me out of the courthouse for something I didn't do, or whether you're going to allow me to watch from the overflow room." And he said, "Well, you can watch from the overflow room, but you can't come back in my courtroom." And I said, "Okay." So when the Chad Daybell case happened, I contacted the court administrator and confirmed for her that I would be allowed back in the courtroom before I went to the trial. Yeah.
She what? Sorry, she called the who?
I reached out to the court administrator to make sure that I would be allowed back in the courtroom for Chad's trial.
Right.
And got that clearance before I attended. Oh, I know that Lauren made a lot of it. None of it was true. And I still have beef with that judge, and he has beef with me because I believe that he protected some very unethical behavior on the part of the prosecutor. And Mr. Breakfast is a guy who's very, very well aware of this. Yeah. He protected some very unethical behavior, and he did it because they're all cronies. And when I tried to get those documents, he ordered them sealed.
I believe it. I believe it. I mean,
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It happens, right? It happens. And it can be, unfortunately, it does happen. And even though in the end, like we want Chad to go to prison, we want Laurie to go to prison, we want all of these things. But what we don't want is judges and prosecutors colluding with one another. We don't want that. Like, there's no need for that. there's just no need. Like, there's a process, and there's a reason why there's a process. So,
I mean, that's what I believe.
Yes.
If those documents were released tomorrow and they prove that that's not true, I would be the first person to say, I'm sorry I said that. But that's what I believe right now. And I mean, there's, yeah.
It is. So, I mean, if you were trying to uncover that and it was frowned upon by the court, and that is part of the reason why you were kept away from the courthouse, then that's disgusting.
Yeah, he had beef with me. And he's not particularly a guy who likes women who tell him what to do.
Yeah. And Mr. Breakfast is not shady.
There are actually a lot of Gypsy Rose Blanchard channels. I like to watch Into the Weeds podcast. I like 1980 Millennial. I like Straight Outta Context. Becca Scoops is a good one. Yeah, those are the four that, and I'm sure there's a few more. But when I don't, like, I know Into the Weeds pretty well, and I know Millennial pretty well. They've been on my channel, and I've been on Into the Weeds. The other two creators, they're just creators that I watch. When it was one of the reasons why I pulled out of doing the Gypsy Rose Blanchard, content creators were fighting and turning on each other. And I can't fuss and fight like that with people because of my autoimmunes. It just makes me sick. So I stayed out of it. But those are 4 channels that I do watch if you're into the Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And I am going to ask those 2 channels if they want to come on and talk about the Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the 2 that I know, the Into the Weeds and Millennial. I'm going to try to put together a Gypsy Rose Blanchard something this week.
Oh, like it's the patriarchy, you know? No. But Mr. Breakfast knows all about this.
Yeah, see, I mean, there's one person we can trust to make sure that everything is transparent. That is Mr. Breakfast. And it sounds to me like you, Laurie, were looking for transparency.
It got to the point where, you know, I talk about Lauren's face and whatnot, but Gypsy Rose Blanchard, it got to the point where they were just making fun of the way she looked, and we weren't talking about the case anymore, right? And it was like, it was getting to, it was, and then people were, like, there was even a point where they did an expose on Becca Scoops and dug into her past and was saying her son wasn't her son. Like, it was like crazy. I was like, oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. Single woman living all alone, you know, rebuilding her life. Nah. So, yeah, the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case is intense and wild, but there's a lot of new good stuff that's come out. Like, it's not just about the way she looks, it's about the actual case. New FOIAs have come out, and it's like flipped it on its lid. And I used to think like maybe the mother did some things to her to, like, first I believe Gypsy Rose Blanchard, which I feel so stupid about, which that's why when I get hidden gems, I'm like, there. I was taken in by Gypsy Rose Blanchard, so there. I understand. Like, no, there's no, you know, I don't judge. So first there was that, and then, you know, my psych soc took over, and I was like, well, this seems weird. And so we dug into it, and we, you know, went into the microcephaly, and because I noticed that she looked like what they used to call pinheads back in the day, and they would put them in freak shows, and we did a whole deep dive into that, and then it turned out that yes, she does have a micro deletion, and so she needed those medical things. And so then I switched to, well, maybe Dee Dee was just playing up her medical diagnoses, and then these FOIAs have flipped it completely on the head, where she was lying to Dee Dee about being able to walk. She, you know, for 20 years, and then Dee Dee wanted out, you know, she tried, you know, so anyway, it's come a long way, the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. So I do want to get back into it because there's good stuff. Yeah, Starlight's good too. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And I'm a big advocate for that. As you know, I am a huge fan of Andrea Burkhart. She
love Andrea.
She covers cases purely because she's interested in transparency. When she sees cases that are being covered up, she goes in there and she does.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you the channels that were doing it, but I think it was, jeez, I'm really bad with time. So like, if I say it was like 6 months ago, it could have been like 9 months ago, or it could have just been like 4 months ago. So like, just give me some leeway there. But somebody texted me, one of my friends, and said, I'm over here on TikTok and there's these Gypsy Rose Blanchard content creators that are talking about you. And I'm like, so like, what do I do about that? Right. And because it's what they do. So it's like, I hadn't even been covering the case for how many months, and they were talking about me. Like, they only did it for like 5 minutes, but it's like, that's the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. With Hidden True Crime, I've only noticed support of content. I haven't gotten any content creators that are like that, right? I've only gotten good vibes from the people covering this. So if it causes me enough distress and pain, I will pick me over, making money. Because Gypsy Rose Blanchard, people say like, you're only in it to make money, right? And I was making pretty good money on it, and I pulled away from it because it's like, it's not worth it. My sanity is not worth it. But I'm also really grateful to the content creators that stuck with it, that were, the ones that like are reputable and they just stuck with it, right? I am thankful for them for carrying that torch and bringing these FOIAs to the forefront.
You say that you did there and file,
right,
to intervene to get documents unsealed if she believes that they need to be, or to get coverage for media.
Was the frustrating part for me. Was I'm a defense lawyer. I was a defense lawyer for most of my career. Also was a prosecutor for a little while. Not my cup of tea. But I believe that the way we get justice is to do it the right way. And I didn't want to see Laurie and Chad get convicted and then this stuff to come out and them to have reason to appeal. So, I mean, I was convinced that there was something there. And when I tried to get a hold of it, they buried it. So I haven't given up on getting it.
It's Barnhart, get it right.
That's right.
All right, let's move on. So April 2023, Lauren in a group chat, Lauren talking about becoming so defensive and mad when people bring up John's work. She also said she was mad about someone comparing HTC to Gigi's podcast, Pretty Lies and Alibis. She always thought Gigi was a wannabe podcaster and never serious like HTC. I'm bringing this up because I know that you're friends with Gigi. So is it weird that I can take the heat, but when John's work is brought up, I become so defensive and mad? Nah, I'm also pretty mad about the Pretty Lies and Alibis comparison. And there's someone up here who said, I've noticed and wondered too, it's evident something went wrong with them. I watch Laurie the most now. Lauren's mods are horrible, except somebody. And I prefer Laurie Hellis, as viewers are much nicer as well as mods. John could be good at times in analysis, but way off base at other times. Isn't this group run by Hidden True Crime and their mods, or am I mistaken?
Yeah. I have a small but really loyal following on my channel. I have the best mod in the world. And I think a lot of people come in and say, the best part about it is that your chat is so nice and so cooperative. And I've noticed that about your chat as well. I mean, when you create that environment, then people notice it. And Lauren foments a little bit of friction, I think.
Well, a lot of those people have seen, well, the thing, okay, she had a big chat, but not everyone in that chat was like that. and they've seen who she is and gone, I don't want to be like that, and left. So a lot of those people are over here now, are on Jay's and Jolene's and stuff, and go between all of us. And
you know, if I were friends with Laurie, I would have to sit with a dictionary next to me because I had to look up foment. I took from it that it was fomenting some type of like bad vibes, and foment means instigate or stir something up. But my gosh,
Kresha has her own following.
I like to know the words that are being said to me. So if someone says a word that I don't understand, I've got to look it up. I've just gotta. But okay, let's move on. You're right. It's time to move on from this. I will put the link down here if you want to watch the rest of the interview, because I do want to get into Jay's. And what are we at? We're at 3 hours now. We're coming up almost on 3 hours. Let me see what everyone else is saying. Excellent. Someone else on my wavelength. Gigi was great on the phone call with the police. She was, and the police even seemed impressed by her. If you're bored, come back later. Right? Ay, probably a gem. Build cult followers aren't not willing to look. Jay's was amazing. Okay, we're going to go over to Jay's. Because first, I haven't seen Jay in a while, and I've missed her, and she makes me laugh and giggle. She's from Michigan, it's a 3-hour one, though. Let's watch, because you said the ending was the most shocking. So let's watch the last, 30 minutes. There. Okay, for those that are just joining us, welcome. We just got done talking about the Laurie Hellis interview over on Excited Utterance. We're moving over to Jay's channel, Every Day with Jay. She did it was a members live, and now she made it public, and things just got really disturbing. The Autism Patreon live. So Dr. Jan, Lauren, and Gray are all on this live talking about autism, and apparently they're talking about Gray Bay's brother who has autism, and they're saying a lot of cuckoo things. A lot of cuckoo things. So be sure to give this live a thumbs up, guys. Helps us go out into the algorithm. Please consider subscribing if you're, please check to see if you're subscribed. We would love to have you. And thank you.
He thought he was going on the trip of a lifetime to San Francisco and had a layover. Yeah. And then they stuffed him in a car and take him. They didn't tell him where they were taking him. Look, I'm not blaming my parents. My parents were told that this was what was best.
Yeah.
Like professionals told my parents to do this. The doctor, the psychiatrist that my parents were working with said do this.
Was he kidnapped and taken to one of those islands that, like those things that Dr. Jan was going to do? Those, what are those called? Can't think of the name of them.
So like my parents thought that they were doing what they should. So they coughed up $55,000 cash, sent him on his way, and thought that this would fix him. And instead,
Before this, we need to go back further.
Absolutely.
That's the main finding. And I think I'll just kind of
Wilderness
conclude with this
camps.
thought.
Thank you.
You guys.
Oh, you're going to conclude. Cotton Carolyn. I think that was a great podcast. What podcast? This one? A look into the life of families with challenges. I feel it gave some great inside realities.
We got a cooter chat.
These three dummies make everything about themselves. Rolling eyes face emoji.
I agree, Coddle Jamie. 79 with the $5 super cooter chat. Thank you so much.
Enough about your brother with autism. What about us?
Agree. With dummies and making everything about themselves. Weird. Thank you for the Cooter Chat. The Cooter Chat link is pinned to the top of the chat if you want to interrupt for any reason. If you're outraged, you want to tell Lauren and Grayson to F off, you want to tell John, here we got another one, Shar Shar.
Can you let them know that they are no longer part of the true crime community?
Absolutely, Shar Shar. Thank you for your Cooter Chat.
I hope they heard that.
Know how you feel. Send in a Cooter Chat. It stops me in my tracks.
We can keep talking, but
Yeah.
for me, the important, and this would be true of, from what we know of Clayton, like his response to police, right? Saying, I don't know what did he say?
Slorin.
He said something to the effect of, I didn't know, he didn't understand what he was doing. To police, right? Saying, I don't know what did he say? He said something to the effect of, I didn't know, he didn't understand what he was doing.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not going to be able to find
What
it.
would happen when he
We're
fired
going to
the
have
gun?
to just do it
He
here.
said something to the effect of, I didn't know, he didn't understand what he was doing, right? Like,
When police asked Clayton what he thought would happen when he fired the gun, he said
something to the effect of, I didn't know, he didn't understand what he was doing. To police, right? Saying, I don't know what did he say? He said something to the effect of, I didn't know, he didn't understand what he was doing, right? Like,
I can't stand when Grayson whispers. Does she? I wonder if she has this on her channel alone, just the audio, because then we could maybe do it that way. Sometimes let's go over. Yeah, see, this is where it's the members only, where she just, see, I wish it was just, we could get it to the audio. Yeah. You know, maybe I will just reschedule and we'll listen to the whole thing, Jay's whole thing tomorrow. Because I feel like we're missing a lot of it and I can't, you know, like skipping around isn't working. It's like finding a needle in a haystack of a 3.5 hour live. So I thought it was just going to be at the end where I could just pop in at the end. But
And we have,
so that, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's what we're going to do. Hyper offended by the conversation. Yeah, because I think this will be like a good live to just go over to dissect together, because I don't want to miss any of it. I watched part of it last night when it started and then I fell asleep. So, I mean, I saw about this first 57 minutes of it and it was really good. So if it got really good here too, I just think it's something that I want to go over together. Hopefully she doesn't put it into members only though. Or maybe I can get Amy or I don't know, maybe Amber or somebody wants to take a break from the Gypsy Rose case and come hang out with me and we can go over it together. We can go over it together. Okay. Okay, let's get my screen together here. And let me come down into chat and see what you guys are saying. Wrap things up. Have a little talk. Yeah, it's weird to talk about your brother's diagnosis. You know, I was like popping around. So I literally last night thought Grayson was talking about herself. I was like, wow, it seems weird that she's doing that, but it's even more weird that she was talking about her brother. Did she say what his level of autism is? Is he aware? Oh yeah, Krusha, that's another person. And Jay, I feel like I should ask Jay to do a live too, because I don't ask Jay because she's so big. such a big channel, and I don't think she would want to, but then also I don't want to make her feel left out either, right? So I don't know. I'm in one of those moods where I don't know what to do. My whole world, I like question everything, and I hate it too. I hate it. Then I'm wishy-washy. I'll be back to myself soon. I'm just working through it. Okay, so I think that's all I have for today. Let me just make sure I went into all the Reddit situation, all the Reddits that I wanted to talk about. Yes, I did. Okay, yep, I think that's all I have. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up, you guys. It helps me go out into the algorithm and party out there. Oh, I didn't even see this. Amy, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. We can start our own law firm, Amy and Amy. I love it, Amy and Amy. We'll have to get a shingle, put it out there. Don't ask me to be the law secretary, though. I tried that once when I took a break. I was always burning out with social work. I would think the world was so horrible. But I will say the one that burnt me out the worst was foster care. When I learned the things that people do to babies, I was just like, oh, no. So when I did that, one of my breaks was to try to be a legal secretary, because I've always been interested in the law. I really have. I've been so interested in it. But then I learned I'm not really good at being someone's secretary. I kind of had always had a secretary, and there was a reason for that. So Amy, you will have to either hire us a legal secretary or take over that position, because I suck at it. Although now I have ChatGPT, so I might not suck at it as much. But thank you so much for that $2 super sticker, and thank you so much for gifting those Dragonfly memberships. Have I told you about the Dragonfly memberships yet today? I don't think I have. I made a little something about it. The Dragonfly is the membership program that we have over on YouTube. Look. Have a look-see.
And if you're not subscribed, why are you not subscribed? I would really, really, really love to have you as a power subscriber. If you really like my content, be sure to become a Dragonfly, and that's our membership, and it's $2.99 a month. I release all my videos early. We have special emojis over in the chat room. I kind of share things ahead of time with my Dragonflies, and I go live sometimes just for the Dragonflies. It's a way that I can support you guys and give you more content, and it's a way for you to support our channel. It's $2.99 a month, and I would love to have you.
I have a few cases that I am working up, a few shows that I'm working up, and what I had been doing was going live and hanging out with my Dragonflies while I work up cases and just kind of talking to you about them and showing you how I do it. And so I've got another one of those planned this week for the Dragonflies. It'll be the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, probably hidden true crime. And I also am working on I want to do something for Highly Strange Days, doing a Happy New Year, a 2026 prediction. We did a 2025 prediction, and we got into some of the more ridiculous things, like Shannon had found this woman who did an oracle reading with asparagus, and people were doing readings, like predictions, with The Simpsons. So we're going to do a 2026 prediction, and it's also supposed to be the year of the horse. So we're going to be doing one of those. So the link for becoming a Dragonfly will be down in the show notes, in the YouTubes, over on the YouTubes, on the YTs, and also in the chat. So thank you, and welcome to all the new Dragonflies. Hi, Kresha. I'm going to email you soon. We went over some of your great content in the beginning. That Laurie Hellis, you managed to capture Laurie and Lauren, and they looked so different, but the most disgusting part of it is, I don't know. I don't even know. I feel so funny talking to you about this stuff because it's your actual family, but I just find it really disgusting how they plopped. It actually makes me want to cry. How they plopped their son on Larry's lap and had him call him Papa. It's just gross. They're gross. They're gross. And when you see Kresha around the YouTube streets and the actual victims, it kind of brings it all home. So thank you for stopping by, Kresha, and thank you for allowing your content to be used as free use. And yeah, I really appreciate it. It is sickening. Okay, so I'm not going to drag this out anymore. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it. Sorry for the emotional live today, but like I said, I'm just going with it. I used to try to hide these things, and I really didn't have much of an audience. And the more that I'm letting myself be seen and heard, the more that the audience is growing. So I am convinced that in this day and age, people want honesty. They want the honesty along with whatever you're doing. And I really appreciate that you guys are here, and I'm sorry that Hidden True Crime has done all this bullshit, but I am actually also very grateful for them because they brought you to me. And I always try to look for the bad in situations, and yeah, I feel actually horrible saying this because here Kresha is, and there's just such horrible stuff that's happened to her family. So I don't know. I just feel really torn today about this case because it is like we can make fun about it and joke about it, but the really crux of it is deep and dark and slimy and dirty. And it's just really a shame that they've gotten away with it for as long as they do. But it is a case that I will stick with because it does, like, it scratches at a nerve of my own, and I really think that justice should be served to those families that they have harmed, and I'm including Christina and those people that they went after. Like, we can't forget that they tried to destroy a mother of 4 who was married and taking care of her babies and just trying to also have a career, even though Lauren didn't, view her as worthy as being seen as high up as her. She was a woman working in true crime, just trying to have a career of her own. And she wanted a tether put on her and put in jail, in prison, wanted the feds after her. Wanted to ruin her life, and it wasn't just Lauren, it was John and Grayson too. It's disgusting. And even though Christina was a brave woman, and even though the Vallow family is a brave, Vallow Woodcock family is a brave family, they don't deserve it. They still have suffered trauma from this hidden true crime, and yeah, it's a shame. Okay, off my soapbox I come. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for stopping by. And Kim, thank you so much for modding. I really, I didn't thank you last time, and I felt bad afterwards. I always try to thank you. Just know that I love and appreciate you so much. And you guys, if nobody's told you this today, please hear this, that my life has certainly changed because of you guys. And I hope that I can do the same for you. And I love you guys so much. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Miss McHugh.
Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. Helps me go out into the algorithm party out there. Bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out.
Tonight, and it feels fine. Feels fine. Baby, I'm dancing with you tonight. Here in the blue, I'm dancing and falling out, hoping for some time with you.